financials.
Hey, baby, you got girlfriend? Well, baby, me so horny. Me so horny. Me love you long time. Hey, baby, you got girlfriend? Well, baby, me so horny. Me so horny. Me love you long time. Hey, baby, you got girlfriend? Well, baby, me so horny. Me so.
What's up? What's up? Frank Bay in the building. Let's cook. Get to some big fights. Big fights announcements. Big fights coming up. It's crazy, right? Nothing was going on. All of a sudden, bang, boom, bam. The boxing world is lighting up. That's how it goes, man. What's it? Famine, feast or famine, right? Then you're in a drought. Then it's a flood. That's boxing for you, right? Don't got a lot. Not a lot going on, and then boom, you get hit with the storm. Ironic, right? What up, Bones? Yes, salute. So I'm sure you guys heard the news, the big announcement. It's kind of ironic they put it during this Beterbiev Bivol news, right? Undisputed coming up Saturday, big fight, right? We were cooking on Tio and Super Bud. Check out the shorts that I dropped. Real Super Bud fans. Two Matador left a great comment. It's like, I guess Golovkin didn't have the superpowers that Bud. He can leap tall buildings, punch through walls. Yeah, man, that's their idol, that's their hero. And Canelo Alvarez, stays in the news. One thing, man, this is a no cuck zone. What up, Frank? Yo. We have to keep a standard here, right? Frank Bay keeps the standard. All right. That's why you're here. That's why you listen. I keep the standard. I keep it going, for you guys, for myself, right? Not a lot of places I can go and talk. I was talking with BDS yesterday. Go watch his show. We were talking about the Beterbiev and Bivol, who has the edges, right? So go watch that. It's boxing talk for you. But one thing we have to get clear, man. One thing we will not stand for. All right. This is a no cucking zone. Frank Bay is a no cuck zone. Let me say it again. There shall be no cucking. Right? I guess these people got the boxing commandments. We don't have commandments, man. We just got lessons. Lessons learned, right? Salute. No cucking. I see a lot of cucks out here with the Benavidez news. Hey, man, salute. Benavidez dropped the news, and guess what? It goes back to Canelo Alvarez. This is something that I tell you guys. Everybody's coming out, and it's always gonna end up on one man. Now, I don't make it a point to make it about Canelo Alvarez, but he's going to come up in the conversation because with the undisputed Bivol, right? A possible rematch, right? Canelo comes out. El Pinche LG. Salute, El Pinche. Yeah, I know you had a comment. I'm not hating on David. See, that's why this is a no cuck zone. Because there's a lot of fandoms that want to turn us against each other. There's a commenter, T Swoof or something like that, and he makes it a good point to say that, why can't David Benavidez shine on his own? Why are they trying to get the two Mexican Latino fighters to knock each other off? Yes, no mandilones, no cucking. I don't need to bash David Benavidez. I don't need to bash Canelo Alvarez. They'll fight when the time is right. Super Bud, he don't want to fight nobody. Floyd Mayweather made a career of cherry picking. Super Bud and Earl, the drunk pirates fence, never fought. Took like 4 years. Beterbiev Bivol took 2-3 years. So This is a no cucking zone, man. Salute, Don Robocrib. Yeah, you back. Salute, brother. There should be no cucking. It's a no cucking zone. So if you like David Benavidez, you like David Benavidez. As usual, yes, they have to fight each other. You're seeing Morrell and Benavidez. They just get into it. It's a hell of a fight, and I'm here for it. Why does it have to? Why do you have to choose? Why does it have to be about David is stepping? David is fighting Morrell, and we have to hate on each other. I got Benavidez sparking Morrell 10 rounds. Look, man, this is another classic style matchup. You got the Benavidez didn't look too great against Bozdik, moving up to 175. Right, he was chasing Canelo Alvarez. He decides to move up, and then you have another beast in Morrell. He's a big guy, and he moved up, and he fought Karsdek or something like that, and he was subpar. But look, El Pinche, I'm suspect on this fight. I am. Look, and this is what I was talking about David Benavidez. I bought his fights. I'm a Benavidez fan. Okay, I'm pro what I'm pro. I don't need to say it. What's understood don't need to be said. I understand the bamboozling they're trying to do on the the fan base, the biggest fan base in boxing, right? And how they build boxers and names off of Canelo Alvarez's name. Look at all four guys. It always comes down to who they're chasing. One guy. Canelo Alvarez is the lottery ticket. So these fights, you wouldn't even really care about these fights if it wasn't for the name, the man, and also Canelo making news. So it was not reported, but there was a rumor floating around that Canelo Alvarez was headed to Japan. And then the rumors really started flying, and Canelo Alvarez was going to fight with Inoue or an Inoue's undercard. And then that was called fake news. Right? Do you guys remember that announcement? Let me find it for you real quick. A lot of announcements, a lot of big news coming out. Can you guys feel the excitement? It's fight week. We're almost here. It was supposed to happen earlier in the year, but Beterbiev got hurt. So let's hope that he makes it. To the fight, right? A lot of other fight announcements. So there it is. If you guys can do me a favor and look at the screen, Canelo Alvarez and Naoya Inoue are likely to meet in person this weekend in Japan. Michael Benson, a credible reporter, right? In Tokyo, Japan. Canelo will attend a show on Sunday, which will see Christopher Rosales, trained by Canelo's coach Eddie Reynoso, fight Kenshiro Taraji. So Canelo will be in attendance in Japan. Now, are they just meeting? Is he having fun? Or are they setting something up? Could Canelo Alvarez fight in Japan? So again, a lot of big news. We got El Rayo. It looks like El Rayo and Pitbull are going to rematch. I think that's on the proposed date for Benavidez Morrell, right? In January of 2025. But this was the problem with David that I said, is that it looks he only fights once a year, so he'll only have had one fight in 2024. This has been his career. Mars Voxio, yeah, they were ridiculing D-Block, reporting the Japan news. I mean, it's fair because there is a lot of clickbait, and that's the homie, and it was looking bad. And I think a lot of the reporters are jealous. Sometimes fans get news, just like Lamont Roach was said to be the opponent. Remember, it was Jesse Hart, and they were going to do the card together. And then David Benavidez. Then the rumor was that they were negotiating, and then the managers came out and said, "Well, that's fake news." And I've talked about this. This is why I do the boxing pillars and the business of boxing. Stocks up, because a lot of it is propaganda. I've talked about this. They put out these proposed fights or negotiations, and they try to get a feel of what the fans are saying and if the fight can do well, And Jesse Hart, you know, he got ridiculed. It was a bad look. It was a bad look, and they knew it. They knew it. That probably was the original fight, but once they felt the backlash, they realized that, damn, this is not gonna look good, and Benavidez had to reevaluate his career. But at least Benavidez steps up where, and I've said this before, like the Mexican Monster. This is why I support him, and this is why it's a no cucking zone. Because you got guys like Boots Ennis, Jaron Ennis fighting Karen Kardashian, a guy he already beat in a fight nobody want. Stank Davis fighting Lamont Roach, right? Shakira was gonna fight Cordina. There's a certain fan base and certain fans that are asked to carry the sport. Superbud doesn't even fight, and people have the nerve to call him Superbud. Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, Pitbull Cruz. There's a common theme here. There's a common theme, and we as boxing fans need to understand and need to keep it real. That's what I'm doing with y'all. I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100. Bud ducking Fedora now. Another Mexican fighter asked to carry fighting Zoo, right? Then he has to fight Bud. He gets no tune-ups. He gets no rest. They use his name to sell their fight, just like they use Benavidez to sell Tank. Look, this is nothing new, man. This is why I do it. This is why I talk boxing. And it's not drama. It's just, you know, we want to see the fights. But one fighters, certain groups of fighters, and look at Madrimov and Bokachuk, another big fight on the undercard of Fury and Usyk. They're just getting to it. There's no Brian Norman and Jaron Ennis, going back and forth on Twitter, and we said we'll wait. I call these things. I call them out, man. I say it before it happens. So these Eastern Europeans, they just got to get to it, and they're gonna knock each other off, right? Still haven't heard from Virgil Ortiz. He was waiting on Bud Crawford. But let's talk about Benavidez and Morrell. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's talk about excitement. How excited are you? And again, I'm doing it hesitantly because I always have a sneaky suspicion that these fights, it'll get postponed. You know, maybe ticket sales don't do as well. Look, something could possibly come up. Bud ducking Boots, they duck each other. I don't pick one side over the other. They can duck each other. They usually won't fight. El Pinche, a 10. Yes. Excitement level is a 10. How about meaning? Meaningful. Is this a meaningful fight? Now I'm just asking the question to just ask the question. I just want to get a gauge of where the boxing fans are out, because that's a hell of a fight to start 2025. You know, and the reasoning they had, and this is why I asked, because if this was the original fight, they should have just came out with it. They should have just said it right off the back. Mr. P, the fat failed engineer, hit the like. I'm questioning why they didn't just come out. If this was the original fight and David is claiming that he's doing it for the fans, why didn't they just announce this from the beginning? Was Jesse Hart Benavidez the original intent? So at the thumbnail, if you look at the thumbnail, Benavidez Morrell, David puts it out that he does it for the fans. And congratulations, this is a dangerous fight. This is a mad dangerous fight for each guy. I mean, you know, the winner puts himself in line for the winner of Beterbiev Bivol. So they automatically can go for undisputed or a Canelo Alvarez fight. I mean, this is a major deal. A lot of things are going to fall in place, and actually we had talked about it. I talked with El Cuerpo. He was on here and he said there's going to be an implosion with Beterbiev Bivol, and actually he called it. And you know, that's what happens when you get boxing minds, you know, boxing minds together who look at the sport from various angles, not the casual observer, right? Try to really see where the chips are gonna fall. You know, your job is to be, you know, Frank Bay. I consider myself a kind of a boxing prophet, right? Try to see where the tea leaves are gonna fall, and that's a baddie of the day, Mackenzie Dern. It is White Girl Wednesday. You know, I didn't really get a chance to put her name up, but Sober said she's actually Brazilian. So smash or pass. Mackenzie Dern. She's a UFC fighter. Yeah, she's bad, as you can see. Oh, Pigeon here. The Pidgester himself. Yes, legend. He was trolling with the heart fight, bro. You know what? But see, that's the thing. They had used him to sell Tank Davis fight, but I think the backlash was so bad from David's side. He said, no, I can't do it. Do you really think David Benavidez went and made this fight happen when he would get paid? Probably just the same. Look, the fight. Look, I bought David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. But not Andrade, because I knew Andrade was gonna quit. He wasn't there to win. But David's fights didn't do well, Pinche. That's why I asked. You know, that's what I'm saying. You have all these El Cuerpo. Actually, speak of the, you know, it's a good fight, but more than likely PBC are clever to disclose this because it's Undisputed Week and the theme. Exactly. It's a chess move, right? They understand. Look, man, none of these things are by accident. It's a business. I mean, I explained, you know, not explained it, but I'm sure you guys, it's a business. You know, look, man, they're in it to get paid. It's a sport, but you still got to make money. Mars, winner definitely deserves Canelo fight, in my opinion, but they have to move back to 168. You know, but that's what people are saying already. They're already saying Canelo's ducking. Again, man, this is a no cuck zone, but we have to keep it 100. Folks, David, stay picking the best available. Everybody else fruitcakes. Well, Gvozdyk wasn't the best. To Matador, Mr. P. Yeah, hit the like. I'm gonna drop the link later. We're cooking on the news. Benavidez, Morrell. Very risky fight. Risky fight for both guys. No belt on the line, right? No belt on the line. Rayo Valenzuela versus Pitbull Cruz is reported on the undercard, right? Stank Davis, Lamont Roach, and then David moving like a boss, Mr. Mirage. Yeah, your guy's looking like a beast right now. But see, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, Mr. Mirage. Why did it take so long? Why didn't he do this earlier? Look, I'm gonna keep it 100. It's a great fight, but there's no money in it. It really doesn't make any sense. It's not gonna do well. It's not gonna do well pay-per-view wise. You know, it's a good move boxing wise for the sport to put your name out there, but it's very risky for both guys because, you know, Mirage, he could very well lose. If Benavidez loses, it's over. His career's done. It's finished. He will never be able to come back from this, just like Devin Haney can never come back from Ryan Garcia. Mr. Mirage. Big risk, no reward for Benavidez. He is already in position for a title. Morrell is the only one who gains from this fight. Yeah. I mean, Benavidez has the name. He could have fought Jesse Hart. He's taking a massive risk. And again, I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical. I've seen things like this before. You know, all the Earl Spence news and nothing's ever happened. It could still happen, but you know, Bud Crawford, they always did. You gotta understand, American boxers put out a lot of fake news. It is what it is. Yeah, it's a rush fight, nothing on the line really. No, the sport is on the line, right? Their careers are on the line. But what were they really supposed to do? They couldn't continue to fight mismatches on undercards. You're not going to get anywhere like that, especially the way social media is now, right? Yeah, PBC should put this fight free on Prime, get as many viewers to build their brand image. Benavidez, Morrell for a Canelo fight. And again, you know, Canelo Alvarez, his main interest is to take on Dimitri Bivol. Solo Dolo, salute Franks. Yes. Hit the like. I'm very excited for this. I'm definitely going to buy the fight. I'm going to buy Benavidez versus Morrell. I think not only is it's a 50-50 fight, but it's going to be a good fight, right? Morrell is more of the boxer, mover, Cuban style, jab. You know, he's got good power, fast hands. Benavidez is the come forward Mexican, you know, has good body shots, throws punches in bunches. Although he didn't really do that against Gvozdyk. He only fought one time in 2024. I think Morrell had 2 fights. They both kind of look lackluster. It's at a new weight class. The winners stock skyrockets, right? They are next in line for Beterbiev, Bivol, or, you know, what I think will happen, they'll milk it. They could put themselves in line for Canelo. Salute OG Blaze. Yes. And it always angles with Canelo Alvarez, right? These fighters are forced to fight each other to force a Canelo Alvarez fight. And this is my opinion of why Canelo Alvarez had always said what he said. Benavidez hadn't done anything. And you guys, you know, the cucks, there's a lot of cucks out there, and guys like Mirage. Mirage is not a cuck. I think he is a fan. But you know who I'm talking about, the Super Bud fans, right? So you literally have five guys, right? I think that's a chain, right? Beterbiev, Bivol, Morrell, Benavidez. You have 168 and Billy. You have a whole weight class chasing Canelo Alvarez, and then you have Super Bud. Who would you guys rather have Canelo face? Because it always comes it comes back to him. I don't even need to bring him up. I'm just looking on social media, and they're hating on Canelo Alvarez because of what David is supposed to be doing. Think about that. People are hating Canelo Alvarez for something that he's already accomplished. Forget about everything else. Canelo Alvarez is already accomplished, but they're hating on him for what Benavidez could have already done. He could have done this last year. He could have already fought these guys in 1 year, but he fights once a year. Folks says Canelo's afraid of Benavidez. He will never fight him. That remains to be seen. Benavidez is doing what he's supposed to be doing, and there's no excuses. Canelo's fighting in Japan, maybe. So he's doing major things. Canelo's at an entirely different level. An entirely different level. There's no level where he's at. Look at the name. Look at the thumbnail. 4 guys, and they're all making decent money, but they have to fight each other. That's how you get the Canelo Alvarez fight. Are we not seeing what we've been asking for? Are you not seeing how the plan always comes together? We've been asking for these guys to fight each other because what they were doing, they were sitting, trying to chase Canelo Alvarez and sit and play it safe. Now they say, oh shit, you know what? Canelo Alvarez can really do what he wants. He's gonna get paid. He doesn't need to fight us, so we need to do something to force his hand. Well, congratulations, motherfucker. You finally did it. Canelo versus Charlo. Yeah, there's that too. El Cuerpo. I'm curious what PBC will do for the co-main for Tank since Benavidez is needed, vice versa. Maybe PBC, Amazon Prime. They had said that it's going to be Bubu Andrade versus Jermall Charlo. That is confirmed. I think, well, Jermall Charlo is confirmed for that date. As you can see, a salute Jamal Punch Drunk Boxing says, shout out Punch, go subscribe, like to his channel. Jermall Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade, co-main to Gervonta versus Lamont Roach. So that is the co-main. So, you know, PBC is recycling right now. You know, that's what they're doing. They need to do something, right? So they're trying to go out with a bang. They're trying to make some noise. Could be too little, too late. Now, me, as far as the promotional angle goes, you know, I don't have a horse in the race. I don't root for PBC or Matchroom or DAZN. You know, I look at how they move their fighters, and you know, Top Rank, Oscar, you know, is gonna have the Rite of Season card. There's a lot of big stuff coming up, man. It was really slow, and now you can feel the energy, the hype for this fight. It's getting big, right? That's what she said. This week, pound for pound rankings, you got Alexander Usyk, and he's fighting Tyson Fury. That's where Madrimov and Bokachek are going to be on the undercard. Naoya Inoue could be fighting. He is fighting in December with Sam Goodman. Terrence Bud Crawford, again, MIA. He doesn't want to fight anybody, but supposedly this guy walks on water. Canelo Alvarez, maybe. Well, he'll be ringside in Japan. Let's pump the brakes. Maybe it's just a meet and greet. Jesse Bam Rodriguez fighting in November on the chief support for Boots Ennis in a trash fight. And that's what this, look at the names. And look who's supporting boxing. But Jesse Bam is being used to sell this trash can Jaron Ennis. Beterbiev to Bivol 6 and 7. They should go above Terrence Crawford 100%. The winner of that skips over Terrence Crawford, hands down. There can be no argument. The guy's doing nothing. Jamal needs to get beat up. it could be his last stand, man. I mean, each guy, that's the end of the road, man. They're kind of washed up right now. Nobody's really asking for that fight, but they need to fight somebody, and they need to sell the pay-per-view. So they think stacking it, is it really a stacked fight? It's not a meaningful fight, because who are they gonna fight? Is that a fight to set up a Canelo Alvarez fight? If that's the case, then it's meaningful. But as far as the fans, those guys kind of just waited around, kind of lackluster careers. Yeah, you lose interest when you don't fight. Tank Mars Box sale, Tank pay-per-view will flop bad. I think PBC put Benavidez and Pitbull on different cards to make actual profit from Latinos. Yeah, it's a strategy. It's a proven strategy. It doesn't take a rocket science to see, oh, Canelo Alvarez, he's still the king. Oh, I wonder who buys his fights. Oh, Tank, his pay-per-views flopped and sucked. Oh, maybe Benavidez will help. It's a proven strategy. That's interesting. Andrade versus Charlo. I'm surprised that's not the main event and Tank should be the co. Yeah. No, I mean, look, it's a strategy. They need to appeal to the hardcore boxing fan, and they have names on their rosters. But this is something we always talk about, man. They wait too long for these fights. You know, these guys don't fight when they're in their. Charlo and Andrade would have been a good fight 5 years ago, 4 years ago. But they avoid each other. Crawford needs to stop chasing Canelo around before he gets really hurt. Well, I mean, we've seen how he looked against Madrimov with 11 fights. And look, Madrimov's getting right back into it. He's getting right back in the ring against a tough ass fight. Bokachek and Madrimov is a hell of a fight. You know, Bud has a chance to face Fedor. He doesn't want to do it. Maybe Earl Spence still is in the picture. We don't know what Fedor is doing. You know, I wish he would have came back. Tim Tszyu rematch would have been a hell of a fight. But it looks like Tim Tszyu is fighting this month, October, versus Murtazayev, right, for a title. So the PBC, I think it's actually going to be on Amazon Prime. So the PBC is making a push right now, right? They got some good cards. They got some good fights coming up. I thought Sampson said Benavidez couldn't happen. That's what he said. Well, what he said was that he couldn't be a part of it. He never said it couldn't happen. He said, well, I can't be a part of it because that guy, Morrell's promoter is his lawyer. There was another announcement. Rocha and Curiel, they're fighting December 14th. That's a good fight. Rocha is trying to keep his career alive, and Curiel is a big, strong 147 pounder. Also, don't forget, I don't know how credible this is. D-Block, he's had some good information, and he says that with Mike Coppinger, boxing hole with Mike Coppinger, looks like Devin Haney is looking at a rematch with Linares. Wow, how sad. That is just sad. Davina Hanke just retired. Yeah, it was a conflict of interest. Davina Hanke it's time to hang him up, bruh. You know, Bill Haney is on the Boxing Voice, and he's getting clowned. He's looking like a clown. It's not looking good, man. It's not looking good at all for that guy. Ryan's winning lawsuits. I don't know if that was the one he posted a picture. Right, but this is the thing with boxing, right? When the big news comes, you know, it comes in floods and waves, and they wait for the right time to strike. And Benavidez Morrell, I was thinking they were gonna put it on the Tank PBC card, but it's kind of a card unto itself. Linares retired, probably fake news. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But that's what I'm saying. They put these things out to try to like gauge what the public's interest is. You know, Haney, he had a belt, and he was set to fight Sandor Martin. Top Rank had won the purse bid, and he drops the belt. So when they talk about legacy, nobody cares about legacy, dude. Nobody does. It's all about the bag, And then he talks about going for Liam Pardo's belt, and Eddie Hearn said he wanted too much money. So the guy's not interested in fighting. We got to look at guys who want to fight, who want to be the best. And it looks like Benavidez is really stepping up. This could be a fight of the year. Who do you guys got? You got Benavidez, you got Morrell. Who's the better boxer? Looks like Morrell's better boxer, the bigger puncher. Benavidez, it didn't look like his punching power carried. Is Canelo gonna fight in Japan? Who's gonna win? Beterbiev, Bivol? Will they all fight each other in 2025? The problem with all that is that Beterbiev and Bivol, they fight once or twice a year. Same with David, he fights once a year. Canelo Alvarez, you already know his dates. And if he fights in Japan, I mean, don't expect it to be a big name, right? Maybe Chris Eubanks, maybe William Skull to get his belt back. You know, that's the problem, man. I mean, we're not getting elite fighters three to four times a year anymore. You know, Bud Crawford, he fights once every 2 years. You know, Virgil Ortiz, I don't know when he's coming back. Maybe that was a hell of a fight. It took a lot out of him and he needs more time. You know, Fundora had the one fight this year. Tim Tszyu is actually coming back. You know, Madrimov and Bokachuk are coming back. Pitbull and Rayo are going to go at it again next year. Right, Lomachenko didn't want to fight. He fought one time. Stang Davis fights 2 times a year. So he's already pretty much locked in for 2 times a year. So it's like we have these, that's what I'm saying, like Tank and Loma, they were making it sound. See, this is what I mean with like Benavidez, Morrell. They made it seem like Tank Loma was a done deal. Remember, like, it should already happen. It was supposed to be, they were talking about it right after Tank Davis fought, and then it was supposed to be in November. And then, you know, they said Tank Davis was asking for the sun, moon, and the stars. So not only did he have Loma fighting once a year, trying to fight an older fighter, he was asking for everything, probably ring, judges, referee. You know, Loma's a Hall of Famer, and you know, they weren't going to give him anything. So why should he have did that? And it doesn't even matter who Tank fights. They're praising it anyway. So in his mind, it really doesn't matter. He doesn't need to fight Loma. He doesn't not fight Shakur. He doesn't need to fight Teofimo. Right? Shakira fights once a year. Shakira is already crying. He's saying Shakira is claiming. See, this is a strategy. Shakira is saying that William Zepeda is going to duck him. He's already putting it out there that Oscar will not let William Zepeda fight Shakur. Now, I don't know what the strategy is, but I don't know why you would say that unless it was you're projecting, right? It's you who really want to you don't want William Zepeda to take the fight. You're praying and hoping that he doesn't want to take the fight. But it looks like it's already a done deal. It already looks like it's already set in stone. February, we're hearing, right? So if you think about it, in the beginning of the year, you already got Benavidez, Morrell, and then you got Shakir and Zepeda in February. So the boxing card filling up. We got Fury and Usyk at the end of the year. Let's hope that one comes through. You know how Fury moves, right? On the undercard of Fury and Usyk is Bokachuk Madrimov. Hopefully it's like $20, right? It'll be you know, the way Turkey Ali is making the card's price, the $20. But see, that's what I question. I said, is it really gonna be $20 for Fury Usyk? You know, he could pull one over on people and say, well, you know, it's a heavyweight, undisputed. The logistics didn't really work, so it's original $69, $79, what have you. You know, Tank Davis is going to be on pay-per-view in December as well, the week before. And I'm sure boxing fans are going to want to pay for Usyk and Fury over Lamont Roach. He's really fighting Lamont Roach. And then the fall in January to start the year, this is going to be a $90 pay-per-view. So that's the other thing. I know you guys like the fight. Are you going to pay for it? Who's paying for Benavidez Morrell? Now, one thing I heard and seen on social media was that if people are already coming out, and these are supposed to be these Benavidez fans and the ones that say Canelo's ducking Benavidez, they're saying, well, they're not even confirming they're gonna buy it. They're saying, well, if it's a stacked card, I'll buy it. So people are already pumping the brakes. Now they're already saying if it's a stacked card. That's why they're rumoring Valenzuela and Pitbull. Right? They're going to put that on there to try to entice people. And you'll probably need another big fight. Maybe throw Figueroa and, well, Fulton is in line for Nick Ball. But Brandon Figueroa in a big fight. They have some names they can put on there, but they'll really need to stack this Benavidez Morrell card because him and Caleb Plant did not do well. And Demetrius Andrade versus him did even worse. Alonzo Amazing, smash my like frame. I'm not going to lie. I'll be streaming with the Fire Stick for those 3 fights. And I don't blame you, man. I don't blame. Look, if Usyk and Fury is $20, I'm gonna buy it because I want to see Madrigal Bokachuk and I want to see Fury and Usyk with no problemo. Right? Same with Morrell Benavidez. It's probably gonna be a good card. It's the beginning of the year. You know, it's my hobby. I'm talking about it, so I'm gonna pay for it. But a lot of people are already saying that they maybe not. Give me 1 second.
What you doing next?
We want financials.
Tell them we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
What you doing next?
We want financials.
Tell them we going for Canelo next.
Yes.
Then you have Bud Crawford possibly coming back. They were saying he's going to face Fedor earlier in the year. They were actually trying to make Bud Crawford Virgil Ortiz in February. That was supposed to be with Shakur and Williams Zepeda. You know, that's Turkey's the Madrigal fight's going to be fire. Yeah. That's what they're announcing. I mean, those guys have to fight each other to get back in it. They're both coming off a loss. And you know, they're in between a rock and a hard place. They're good fighters with no names. So, you know, American fighters are not going to want to fight them. And so they have to fight each other. That's the thing about like Morrell. Morrell's a little known Cuban fighter and he's good. So good luck getting a big fight. You know, same with Canelo Alvarez. He lacks opponents. Inouye lacks opponents. You know, after Fury and Usyk, what are they gonna do? Like guys like Fury, Canelo, and Inouye, Tank Davis, they could fight whoever because they're the name and they get the money. But guys like Benavidez, Morrell, you know, people trying to make their name, they gotta fight everybody. You know, Christian and Billy, he's trying to get a Canelo Alvarez fight. He's going to have to step it up. Jaime Munguia, Berlanga. There's a lot of, you know, 2025 could either be really hot or really dull because a lot of these fighters could be stalling. You know, I expect to hear big news from Jaime Munguia, big news from Christian and Billy, big news from Edgar Berlanga, big news from Diego Pacheco. We just got the big news with Benavidez Morrell. Big news with Shakir Twitterson and Williams Zepeda. Williams Zepeda has a decent fight with Tevin Farmer. He should steamroll Tevin Farmer. I think if he steamrolls Tevin Farmer, it's a big statement. The only problem is that they don't fight as often as they should. See, that's the problem. Like when Benavidez and Morrell fight, it's gonna be another 5 or 6 months till they fight again. Bud Crawford may not fight to the end of next year. You know, when does Fedor come back? Tim Tszyu is a worker too. Tim Tszyu looks like he wants to stay steady. He'll be fighting at the beginning of next year. Hit the like. I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit. Jose H. Moreno. Who cares about Canelita Chicken Run? Blah blah. Yeah, hit the like, man. But this is a no cucking zone. See, I don't even know if that's that person's name. You know, it's probably an alias. But that's the name that people always say. So, you know, who do you blame? You blame Canelo Alvarez, but all these guys are chasing him. He's the reason they're fighting each other. 18th Street. Thank you. Yo. Believe it or not, these fights happen because of one, they're chasing Canelo Alvarez, or two, somebody comes along and gives them enough money. We wouldn't even have Beterbiev Bivol if it wasn't for Turkey Ali. That's Mackenzie Dern, Joe's a man. She's baddie of the day. She's a UFC fighter. Shout out Mackenzie. But I heard she was Brazilian though. So, but to me, it's like Portuguese, white. It's like, you know, not really. It's Fight Girl Wednesday. Let Canelo fight the winner. Let those guys fight. You know, this is why they're announcing this fight this week. Benavidez Morrell to put pressure on Beterbiev Bivol, but they have a rematch clause locked in. But it doesn't seem like either one's interested in it. Beterbiev says he might go up. Bivol, he hasn't really stated what he wants. I think someone had told me that the Bivol already turned down Canelo, said he won't fight him. He's not going to give him the opportunity. Canelo has stated that he wants undisputed. But Benavidez Morrell will make a case. Who knows? Maybe the winner of Beterbiev Bivol, they let some of the belts go. That's typically what happens. We just seen Usyk and Fury, right? Get undisputed and then they get stripped. So we know how boxing works. You know, that's what's crazy is like, yeah, we get undisputed, but we'll get it for about a month. You know, they even stripped Canelo Alvarez. He was able to defend it and then they stripped him. Why would you do that? Well, it creates more interest. You know, a lot of people were saying Canelo Alvarez, man, he should give up the belt. Look, man, when Bud Crawford beat Earl Spence, he held on to undisputed. Well, they stripped him right away too, but he held on to the belt for like a year and a half. He just barely gave up the belts to give it to Jaron Ennis and Mario Barrios. So a lot of this, look, man, boxing is a chessboard. It's cat and mouse. It's a lot of subterfuge, a lot of Machiavellian moves. Salute, Champy. Morrell, the rabbit punching prodigy. Salute never sobers. Yes. It looks like everybody's excited. The big news dropping, right? Just all these fights dropped on us. Morrell, Benavidez, when it was fake news a couple days ago. Beterbiev Bivol, we didn't know we were gonna get it. Cross your fingers still, right? You got the Wolverine Beterbiev doing like some fucking knuckle push-ups across the ring. Like, what kind of insane shit is that? You got Bivol going through it with Kate Bivol dropping some racy pictures. Now that's what I should have put up. She's gonna be a baddie of the day. You know, shout out Kate Bivol. You got that going on, and he's got a big fight, right? You got Demetrius Boo Boo Doo Doo Andrade quitting his last fight against Jermall Charlo on the undercard of Lamont Roach and Stank Davis. A fight nobody asked for, but their names. Jamal Charlo hasn't fought in 3 years. Crazy shit, man. Rayo Valenzuela and Pitbull Cruz dropping too. There other news, Janabek is there's a purse bid for him versus Harim Shazim, Turkey Ali's boy, who just fought. I think that's how you say his name. That's a big fight. We just seen Janabek fight a fucking Australian scrub. It was pretty awful, pitiful. You got Japanese fighting this week. There's 2 cards. I think it's on a Sunday night and Tuesday night. I mean, is anybody staying up for those fights? I'm not going to. You know, is it Nakatani who's in line for a Nui fight? So, you know, that's the fight game, right? There's no news, then there's big news, and you got the rumors, Bud and T.O. going at it. Devin Haney, fake news against Jose Linares. So that's where I'm gonna drop the link. Hit the like. See if anybody wants to cook. A lot going on, but the main news, meat and potatoes, is undisputed this week. Did a fight breakdown on BDA. Go rewatch that. Drop your pick. Who do you have? Beterbiev Bivol. Now you have this news. Morrell Benavidez in the same division, so they're chasing the undisputed. I dropped the link. Hit the link if you want to come on and cook. Right, you got social media, Twitter blowing up. Canelo's never looked more like a duck, according to cucks. But this is the cuck-free zone. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fooled. This is a no cucking zone. You know, there's no cucking here. You know, Canelo Alvarez is on a different level. He's doing big things. He's talking about fighting in Japan with the Nui. you know? But no cucking. I'm not going to turn on Canelo Alvarez. I'm not going to turn on David Benavidez. You know, they're keeping boxing alive, keeping it going well, bringing the big news. Why is it that certain fighters, Jerron Ennis can fight a scrub in November with Jesse Bam Rodriguez as his chief support, but you know, nobody else is asked to do anything. You know, Morrell, Benavidez has to fight Morrell, a killer. They have to put it all on the line, risk their careers. Because yeah, I promise you, if David Benavidez loses, it's over. What do you think is going to happen if Benavidez loses this big fight? Let me ask you guys. What do you guys think happens? Benavidez beats Morrell, says Blaze. No knee benders. No knee benders, exactly. No cucking, no knee benders. That is our anthem. There's no cucking, no knee benders. I support who I support, and I call out who I want to call out. Benavidez is done if he loses. Joe's a man. Exactly. Can you imagine what's going to happen? Can you imagine the fallout if Benavidez loses? Now, this is what happens with boxing fans, man. We're always torn in between who to root for, who to go for. It's like, it better be a Bivol. It's like if you're a Canelo fan, through Matador, Benavidez got that dog. He's got the dogometer. Well, he was crying after the Gvozdyk fight. Oh, my hand, my rib. No crying in sports. When Canelo called him into the ring, he didn't want to go. That was a bad look. I was really disappointed in David Benavidez when Canelo Alvarez, I believe it was after Jaime Munguia, called him in the ring and he said, no, thank you. That was his opportunity to step to him. Have we ever seen Benavidez step to Canelo? That would be a sight, right? Benavidez would tower over him. You know, Canelo Alvarez just fought a monster in Edgar Berlangas and Munguia. To me, that's just as big as a fight. I know, okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. I dropped the link. Hit the like. But you know what? You know what's crazy? Hot take. I got a really hot take for you guys. 18th Street. Benavidez only steps to Canelo on the internet. Apparently, because he's in the building. If you really wanted a guy that bad, you'd step to him, right? Haters like to pretend Canelo was talking to someone else. No, Benavidez, him and his wife, it said, yeah, he called me in the ring. He had said, Benavidez himself said he didn't want to, I forgot what his excuse was. He said that he wasn't ready. Something like he didn't want to take the spotlight away from Canelo Alvarez. Something I've talked about. They're both PBC. They both fight under the same banner. They're likely working together. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that they could very well be working like business partners. Look, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna call you out. We're gonna keep each other relevant. I'm gonna get a big fight. I'm gonna fight Beterbiev, Bivol, and then we fight undisputed versus undisputed. Can you imagine that? Let's blow the boxing world's minds. And Matt, dude, is that bigger than Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather? Imagine 2025. I'm imagining here. Canelo Alvarez said Bud Crawford in May. Benavidez fights the winner of Beterbiev, Bivol, maybe June, July. And it's Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, 2025, undisputed. Undisputed versus undisputed. Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez. Is that bigger than Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather? Now, with piracy, maybe not. You got to use your imagination. Use your imagination out here, man. Too much security, he said. Who? Mars? On Ellie Suckback channel, Benavidez Sr. said they don't go up there due to security. Those are the facts. Okay. I thought Benavidez said something else. I could be wrong. Maybe he said that. Benavidez Sr. says a lot of things, but you know, who knows? Who knows? It could be true. It could, you know, you never know. But it looked like Canelo Alvarez was waving to him to come up there, and David kind of looked like a deer in the headlights. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But that's what it looked like. But what we're looking at, what I was saying, another hot take, Berlanga versus Jaime Munguia, 2025, maybe a Puerto Rican Day parade, right? Imagine that. Berlangas and Munguia, Puerto Rican Day parade that weekend, Madison Square Garden, New York, Mexican versus Puerto Rico. I think that does better than Morrell and Benavidez. Hot take. Munguia and Berlangas does better than Morrell and Benavidez. Now, I know as far as the fight, is different skill levels as we see it. Morrell and Benavidez might be fight of the year. Hit the like, hit the link if you want to come on and cook with your boy one time. El Cuerpo. The Latinos bringing the heat, man. That's a good call. I would agree with that. Fight would do better. Right. And it's purely from business. Salute, brother.
Yo, Frankie, you can hear
live.
me?
Yes, I got you.
How does it sound? Good?
Yeah. You're
all
good.
All right, man. What's up, man?
Just
man. I agree with you. Should be a good talk.
You're breaking up.
How about now?
Okay, a little bit better.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me jump back in.
Okay.
Bro. Let me switch this phone.
No worries. Out of Cuerpo with technical difficulties. He'll be back to cook. He cooks with hot grease, right? With mantequilla, with lard. You know, that's how I cook my beans and bacon. If you ever cook, you know, that's an underrated ingredient. You know, if you go to a greasy joint, you know, my dad liked to go to the greasiest burger joints. You know, that's where you get the best burger. When they put the lard on the fryer, you know, and you know, they don't, it sounds disgusting, but they don't clean it, right? Or, you know, they don't sanitize it all the time. They just clean it every so often. Like I think you're supposed to clean it a certain way so that, you know, the flavor stays in there. So when you get one of those greasy spoon diners and you get a good burger, it's the best, you know, it just has a certain flavor. You know, some people prefer Burger King though with the charbroil. You know, I like a good Burger King burger every once in a while. My grandfather, that was his favorite, was onion rings and a Whopper. The man knew what he liked, right? A Whopper charbroil. You know, my dad preferred the greasy spoon diner with the greasy burger. You know, with the slab of cheese and the burger dripping, right? Got to get that flavor in there, man. You know, it's all about the flavor. You know, especially carne asada too, man. Put the beer on there. Yeah, man. We were cooking. El Cuerpo said Burger King onion rings, fire. Exactly. Man, onion rings is underrated, man. You know, people forget that the places got onion rings. Well, I hate onions, but I like onion rings. Make it make sense. You know? What else does onion rings go with? You know, I forgot what onion rings go with, but you know, cheese fries, carne asada fries is the new thing though. You know, I'm always looking for a good carne asada fries thing. I don't know where you guys are at, what parts of the country, but we're on the West Coast, and the big thing is carne asada fries. And you know, but there's different ways to make it. You know, whoever would have thought you would have seen beans with fries, beans and cheese and wok. I'm a no wok guy, sour cream, you know. But yeah, man, we're cooking over here. El Cuerpo, you know, was asking what was going on, and like, you know, it's Morrell, Benavidez. But okay, look, my problem is, why is he only fighting once a year? That's my problem. Okay, the homie's back. Let's hope his sound is kosher.
Yo. How's it sound?
There it is. Much better.
All right, my man. Hey, so yeah, man, I heard you speak about. I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you saying something? What else were you saying, man?
No, I'm letting that. I was just talking about the big news. Benavidez, Morrell, Beterbiev, Bivol. You had said it. I actually gave you a shout out. You had said there's going to be an implosion, and it's all coming to fruition.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we were already talking about it earlier in the month. Just rephrasing it differently, man. But yeah, but Frankie, I got some cookies for you tonight that
okay.
you're gonna like. First of all,
man, he said he had some cookies in the. Okay, there he goes. What is going on?
how's it sound? Sounds good.
Better, yes.
Okay, damn, it sounds like a club in here. Sounds like the music just boomed up.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, what was I gonna say? You said you had mentioned the Boxing Boys a while back, like
Yes.
20 minutes ago, and that caught my attention because this past week, man, I noticed. I know Bill Haney was on, and
Right.
To be honest, man, I'm a bit disappointed with Nestor Gibbs in a way because, and you might agree, man, but I think Bill Haney's a very clever guy in that he's probably one of the very few that splurges to pay, other channels to probably talk transparent about Devin Haney, his son, because I know Nestor, man, he's been on and off about, he's been for, this week it seems like he's for Peds, and before he's always been against Peds. But it's just so weird, man, because, he recently said, I'm so glad that Memo Heredia is back with David Benavidez' camp, right? But at the same time, he's like flaming all the, I guess, Ryan Garcia objective fans, right? So it's just weird, man. I think, unfortunately, probably the Boxing Voice is getting a nice little stipend from Team Haney, just to speak objectively about Devin's accomplishments, not so much defending. I don't know how you say, I don't know how you'd call it, man, but maybe you might agree to some extent. But I have this cookie for you, man. Can you hear me, by the way? Does it sound good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So check this out, Frankie. So you probably know maybe today is the final deadline for Ryan Garcia to decide if he wants to take the Devin Haney rematch, right? He has to, enroll in VADA? Well, nobody's really, right. So nobody's talked about this. What if, or actually, this is probably a good opportunity for Ryan Garcia to say, all right, you know what? I'll concede to your stipulations about VADA and whatnot, but how about you don't do snack? Because I have some little snips from the snack website, and I want to ask you if these phrases sound performance enhancing to you. All right, because people get confused with what's a performance enhancing drug or what constitutes a performance enhancing drug. But I'm just gonna say this. All right.
Okay.
So check that. I just got 3 things. All right. So on snack, you're gonna find the phrase optimize human performance. Okay, that's one of them. The next one is essential sports recovery. Okay, another one is a necessity for anyone who wants to make gains in strength, endurance, and muscle mass. Right, that's ironic, muscle mass, and what they were flaming, the Ryan Garcia team, for having muscle mass, as of late. But people forget, man, that WADA, they never endorse any type of supplements of any kind, nor do the FDA, for those that are stateside, the Food and Drug Administration. So I think snack is very clever in they strictly call themselves, sports nutrition. But as you know, I'm more than sure Memo Heredia, Victor Conte, they have a history of, the Baco scandal. And it's just and they themselves have said many times, maybe not as of late, but in the past, that they know ways to, mask drugs or whatever's on the ban list. So since it's a bit complicated for, maybe new fans to understand the context of all this, so let's just make it very simple then, because even Ryan Garcia said it himself, right? The poor kid was like saying all along, hey man, look at snack, look at its history, or look at Conte, look at his history. So why don't they just not use snack then? Let them use USADA or VADA, whatever they want to do, and get some like 30 parties involved on the collection of the samples, but that they don't need snack. Now imagine this, Frankie. How many people are gonna be for snack? Doesn't that sound like a contradiction or another paradox? in the boxing game to say, oh no, well, Devin should be allowed to do snack because what snack does, they're not in violation of any of the banned substances. Now doesn't that sound weird to you? Now remember the little nips that I said to you earlier about, optimize human performance, essential sports recovery, all these things. It just seems like contradictory, man. That's what kind of pisses me off. And like the boxing voice, they don't want to acknowledge that, so I just wanted to say that I think Ryan Garcia has a good opportunity to tell the world, remind the world that he'll fight Devin Haney, no problem. But how about they don't use snack, right? I mean, let me ask you, Frankie, is snack required for all athletes in boxing?
No, you have to sign up for it.
Exactly, and it's more of a rhetorical question, but
okay.
it's not mandatory, obviously. But since it's not required, why do we need to have snack in the rematch? Isn't that fair to Ryan to ask for, to let the public know? And maybe the public might do their own research and be like, I wonder why is Ryan Garcia doesn't want it to have snack? And then fans will start to, follow the dots. I just thought about that.
No, that's an excellent point. Yeah, I've always said that, you made you said what they said on their website, and my main point about it is, the test alone is very expensive. I think I heard, I don't know if you know who Rachel Donaire is and Nonito Donaire.
Yeah.
Or you heard her speak. And she said that the tests alone are the tens of thousands of dollars. Like, especially if you're enrolled in year-round testing, I mean, you're talking a lot of money for those type of tests, to be, for them to show up randomly, for, like Ryan said, he got tested 4 times. It's a lot of money. And then with snack, you're talking like tens of thousands, $20,000, $30,000 snacks, supplements. Who pays that much money for supplements? That to me tells me everything I need to know.
Exactly. So I just think it's kind of I think maybe as fans, since we don't instigate the background of anti-doping in boxing in particular, I think we do ourselves a disservice to not really ask why we don't, or why do we allow, I guess Victor Conte is still in the game, but it is what it is. Maybe we give him, a second chance or benefit of doubt that he really is clean sport, but that's another conflict of interest. If he admitted to knowing how to mask, whatever, even Memo Heredia said it himself. And by the way, they're known in particular for helping sprinters. I think what is Marianne Jones and some other sprinters, and the same thing with Memo Heredia, because Memo Heredia, his background is actually running. So and snack, they still promote like gym and track and field or whatnot. So it's just all these weird things going on that we don't really, well, we know, I shouldn't say we, but we know, but the new generation fans or some fans just have no idea of the context that snack is still a conflict of interest in general, man. It's just unfair. But I just think Ryan Garcia should maybe call their bluff and say, all right, man, I'll concede to what you want, but how about we don't do snack then? Let's see how they respond, and let's see how the boxing world defends having snack, if it's really required for boxing.
Yeah, the only problem is that the guys like Robert Garcia, he has a few fighters on snack, so there would be a lot of pushback for that. But I could see Ryan Garcia saying that because he has the leverage in the rematch, and he could, he's the money man. He can easily tell Devin Haney to fuck off. Like, no, if you want it, like what you said, let's you want me to do this, then you do that. Like, that's fair. Even the playing field. That's what PEDs essentially does, is that it evens the playing field, whether you want to believe it or not. Is that, like, I know that guy's on it, so I'm gonna get on it. That's what it's about. And or if you suspect that he's on it, well, then I'm gonna do it, right? Like, our career's on the line. And you mentioned Memo Heredia. I had said this before. I always suspected, and something nobody ever mentions, is that David Benavidez, like you were saying, the boxing voice was speaking of, Canelo Alvarez had always alluded to that, because he said, I suspect that he knows that David's with Memo Heredia, and that's why he's always mentioning the weight, because that's how David's able to make the weight is with those performance enhancing drugs, where it's the diuretics, and then still able to keep the muscle. And you get what I'm saying. I always said it was about him working memorrhagia that Canelo's aware of, and that's why he's always, poking David Benavidez about that in a subtle way, though.
All right. It's just funny though, if we were to ask ourselves, do you think Devin can actually, I guess at this stage, depending if he's at 140 or 144, 147, he had to drain a lot to make his weight at 135, obviously. So I guess I would ask, could Devin perform the same had he not used snack in the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years, right? And if we say yes or no, well, then maybe we're acknowledging that, snack does, as the website says, optimize human performance, right? So it's just paradoxical, it's all paradoxical, Frank.
Look, if you look at the pictures of Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford, they're big as fuck. They're bigger than Andre Ward. And it's no coincidence that Terrence Bud Crawford, he starts finally getting money. He works with Snack, and then he just becomes this knockout puncher that he punches so hard his gloves explode. Like, it's just common sense, dude. It's common sense that this guy's 37 and he looks like Barry Bonds. He does.
The gloves explode.
His gloves exploded. He looks, but in the pictures, the build up to Spence, he looks like Barry Bonds. He's getting ready for Canelo Alvarez, and he's looking like, again, Barry Bonds. And he's 37. There's no fucking way you gain that much strength and power with vitamins.
Another thing, Frankie, too, I think I had I tagged you because, like, in the past day or two, like, that Undisputed game just blew up, right?
That's right.
Video game. And all I see is like Canelo and guys playing and re-add season. So come on, man, like, Turkey's got to wake up and know,
right?
Because you really want to put the money,
I noticed that too. I'm like, wait a minute, is there a bigger play? Sometimes I think these guys all work together, kind of wink, wink, right? And it's like, yeah, that I thought about it. I said, that's Ryder season and Canelo Alvarez. Like, there's something in play, man. There's definitely a play here. As you can see with the Morrell and Benavidez fighting, announcing their fight during this week. Canelo puts out that he's going to be in Japan. So, man, these guys are all making big moves. And then, like you said, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, he goes, look, I'm going to say something about Nestor Gibbs in the boxing voice. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm not clout, because if I say something, they'll say, oh, you're clout chasing. I mean, he's got a big platform, big channel. A lot of these guys listen. And so I would look weak talking shit, because it's like I'm just like this little small channel or whatever. But my real thing is, dude, I can't listen to it. I just think they're propaganda. Like you said, like, are they getting paid by Bill Haney? He's allowed to go on and just spew nonsense. Like, me personally, I told the chat this, I tell you guys, dude, I can't listen to bullshit, I have a bullshit detector where after 2 minutes I hear this, oh man, he got skill, Canelo, I just turn it off. Like, man, but I do listen for information. Like, mostly what I listen for boxing is information.
No, I agree with you, but sometimes, like, it's good to monitor what these I guess these big channels are doing, because you can kind of follow the realistic propaganda that's happening,
right?
So, Bill Haney, it's without a doubt, man, the guy has been paying other channels to promote his son. And I mean, he has every right to, man. If he wants to splurge that cash, he tells the host, hey, let me throw you 5,000 or 10,000, just speak of Devin's accomplishments. And he can literally say, I don't want you to go overboard with it, but just speak transparent about his accomplishments. And I'm sure they like it, and maybe they get influenced to continue talking about it, assuming Bill Haney will pay the following month and the following month. And I think that's probably what's happening with the boxing boys, because to throw 10K or 5K to Nestor Gibbs is rather easy for the Haney. That's not a problem at all. And it makes him look good,
It's
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's an investment. Now, I could do that for YouTube. I can do that. I can pay YouTube to promote my channel. I can pay Instagram people to promote whatever I wanted to promote, right? Or they pay me to do it. my stance has always been, you know, I can't lie, man. Like I would feel weird promoting anybody or having to pay for YouTube to promote me. I prefer more of a guerrilla natural thing, you know. But it's smart. It's smart business.
Another thing too, Frankie, is that a lot of fans, they don't know the realistic concept of what they call not at fault. I'll say it again, not at fault. And a lot of these, I don't know who overrules it, but let's just say VADA or USADA or whatever committee is overseeing a case. If it happens that it was really, it was because of contamination, then that athlete is what they call not at fault, and they're not penalized for it. All right, these actually exist in the world of sports. So I'm always confused why hosts or some fans, they take this dogmatic approach that, if there's any type of adverse finding, be it like 0.0001, that automatically they were cheating, when in fact there are a lot of cases where the athlete is not at fault, like there's a contamination thing. So that's why I kind of question the boxing boys, because Nestor Gibbs has for years, he's always given the benefit of doubt for contamination, and then lately he's just strictly saying that, Ryan Garcia is a cheater and whatnot, and then Bill Haney's on, like, something's up, man. So I think Nestor Gibbs is just probably playing the role as of late, and I don't think there's anything wrong, saying that. He also has his hustle to build the channel and keep it going, but there's just a lot of inconsistencies, and unfortunately we have that thing called strict liability, right, in the contracts, and that's what a lot of fans, they don't I guess they don't see that a lot of cases can be not at fault. Like, for example, look at the clenbuterol thing, right, with Canelo Alvarez, right? They always want to bring up that Canelo cheater or whatnot. Well, then how is it that, okay, now remember, Ostarine is not allowed at any rate, right? There's no limit for it. It's just like 0 is what's set on the ban list. But clenbuterol, once upon a time, it was also like, if you had anything in your system, it doesn't matter if it's 0.0001. If you have any of that, then you're found, I guess, quote, guilty. But even with clenbuterol, they've had cases where the athlete's not at fault. But anyways, clenbuterol, bro, it was changed to like a higher threshold. So then you have to wonder, why would WADA do that? Why would WADA do a favor for athletes, past the Canelo era? Why would they do any athlete in any sport the favor to have a contamination, right? So, the obvious answer is that contamination does exist, and that's why WADA doesn't. They don't condone what's this called, supplement use. They don't acknowledge supplement use of any form. So I think sometimes we as fans, we forget that contamination is a real thing, and yeah, whatever. So, anyways, with the Ryan Garcia thing, I just think he should challenge the system and say, okay, let's do this then. Why don't we not do snack or whatever? And forget the whole Robert Garcia Jim. I understand what you're saying, but if we want to be objective and neutral, let's see what the Haneys would do in Ryan's request, because they still need Ryan Garcia, right? Assuming they want another major payday. Yeah. So I just think it's fair. I don't think boxing fans would complain. Who's going to complain? No, Devin Haney deserves to have snack.
You'd be surprised, man. There's a lot of cuck media. There's a lot of cucks. A lot of cucks and cuck media that they're just going to support Devin Haney. They're going to support Bud Crawford, Tank Davis, because they want an American face. They don't want a Ryan Garcia. They don't want a Canelo Alvarez. That's something that I say. But you said something very important. They need Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia does not need them. So somebody has to tell him, hey man, like, you can make the demands. What is he gonna do without Ryan Garcia? His career is over if he can't get his get back. I just seen that they saying he's training for Ryan Garcia. They said that Ryan Garcia is training. Maybe we still get the fight, but maybe we don't. According to, like you said, Bill Haney put out some propaganda that he has 10 days to comply. Like, who listens to that shit? That's what I want to know. I mean, you're making your point. I'm just asking though, like, who listens to that? Like, how could I take anybody serious that has that guy on there talking like that? That's why I don't take what you said. Those guys, I don't take them seriously because I think what you're saying is true. They're either being paid or they're doing it for some kind of like clout or association, and I just find it clown behavior. Like, you know,
Yeah. I mean, it could be just genuine trolling too. From, you know, I get what you're saying now. You don't need to mention the channels, but yeah, it could be trolling also. And I forget about that. Obviously, he doesn't expect the fans to understand that, but you know. But anyways, man, it's unfortunate I have to bring that up because, you know, this is a great week, right? We've got the Beterbiev and Bivol, but at the same time, you know, the Bill Haney came up as late, and people forget about the whole anti-doping paradox in boxing. Unfortunately, we have to remind people that you know, you can't really take one side or the other. And I just think, to be fair, why don't we just not have any snack? All right. and let's see how they perform.
I mean, it's a really tough battle to fight, but if there's anybody who could do it, it's guys like Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, or Inui, the guys that can force another guy's hand. Real quick, Nova Ninja says Benavidez isn't a Mexican. His dad is from Peru and he's from America. You guys claim
Peru.
So he's American? Well, it was Mike Tyson who called him the Mexican Monster, and he's the one that adopted the name Mexican Monster. So I don't know what problem you have with that, if that's what you're trying to say. And who doesn't have any good boxers? Americans? Yeah, you're right. Probably. Japan has the most champions right now, so I think they're the best boxers. Japan literally has the number one pound for pound fighter and the most champions. So this is what's comical when these ninjas get on here and talk like this, because I know what they're doing and I know what they're saying, but they can never win because the facts don't align with them anymore. Maybe when Ali and Leonard were ruling, but boxing wasn't a global sport. Now you have the undisputed is 2 Europeans. Actually, the next undisputeds are all Europeans. So what the fuck are we talking about?
That was funny. You said they can never win.
They can never win. The face of boxing is a little ginger Mexican, and the next undisputeds are Europeans. So it's just, these guys are ignorant. They're just complete. They're either liars or ignorant. Like I think that the people you're talking about they're just liars. El Cuerpo, I'm gonna say it. They're just liars. What is the lie? Like deceitful, right? Or game. There's probably a better word, but it's very easy to con men. The con guy. Those people that you mentioned the name, and they're con men. Yeah. I mean, I could easily be a con man, right? Frank Bay. I'm gonna promote heavily certain fighters or demographics, but really, it's just a con. Like, I don't really care about the sport. I know there's a million Canelo Alvarez fans. If I can get them to all donate, then I'll be a millionaire, right? It's a pretty easy con.
Yeah, the formula.
No, that is the formula, because I'm actually probably not gonna grow or become if I talk about the sport of boxing, because it's such a niche sport. So people may see a thumbnail, Morrell, Benavidez, but all they care about is Alvarez, or all they care about is Stank Davis. The general boxing fan doesn't really pay attention to, unless it's Devin Haney Garcia, right? They don't pay attention to Beterbiev, Bivol, like someone like me would.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though with Tank Davis that obviously he was poorly managed throughout his career. Obviously with Floyd, or under Floyd's umbrella. But I like, as far as like technique and skill wise, I do like Tank. It's just the unfortunate nature of this era's, I guess, culture, or I guess people he was affiliated with, right? All that, the street stuff, or I don't even know if Tank Davis is the streets, right? Is he? I thought he's been a gym rat since he was a little boy.
He's a sport kid that grew up in the streets but wasn't a part of the streets, I guess you could say. He was a hooper, a baller. He wasn't running with street gangs, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, and I think just it's just unfortunate, man. I think a lot of fighters under the TMT umbrella. That's why I think, to be honest, I'll just probably say it now, man, but I don't think anything's going to happen with Kamara Moulton. If he continues with TMT, he's just going to lose years, to be honest. Because me personally, if I was a promoter, it's the guy's what, like 5'4", 5'5". It's
Yeah,
it's
he's a
it's-
little
it-
guy.
Yeah, it's just I don't see a lot of optimism in trying to sell that guy.
And
And I'm probably wrong for saying that, man. I don't.
no,
I feel bad, just belittling a short guy, but he just doesn't. I mean, I think he's shorter than Tank, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. They're probably the same height. I don't know.
yeah, no, he's a little weird looking gremlin.
Yeah.
He might be a good fighter, he might not. But the thing about Gervonta and Floyd, and now I guess his new protege, Carmel. I don't even know what kind of name that is, Carmel.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
unique name. I don't know if it's Arabic or something.
Hmm.
That'd be interesting. But look, man, Floyd Mayweather laid it out. He's currency over legacy. He has no interest in building a champion or doing things like that. He just wants to make a ticket seller. He's always told people that. He doesn't care about the belt. He doesn't care about the names, Lomachenko. He wants to sell tickets and he wants to sell pay-per-views. And Floyd Mayweather created that blueprint, and that's all Sting Davis and probably Cormel Morton are going to do, is they're going to feast on the weakest link. You know, whether it's an old shot faded fighter with a name or a weak champion, that's the blueprint.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I agree with that. It just seems like he runs it cheap, like literally like cheap.
Mm.
You know?
Like a flea market, nickel and a thrift shop.
Yeah, I guess he's just literally one of those type of characters that he likes to splurge his money or show off his money, but he's cheap. I think so. I mean, the way he manages fighters, at least, it seems to me that TMT are cheap. I don't know.
Well, he's built his brand and name, so he doesn't really need to put that much money because he can make a fighter famous just being associated with them. I think that's his thinking. Well, same with Oscar. Like, one of the things you would sign with Oscar is like, oh, you know what, Oscar has a name, so I'm gonna be associated with Oscar De La Hoya. That's how, like, literally, that's how Ryan Garcia made it to the top. Is that he signed? Oscar was smart. He said, you know what, I know this kid may be lacking, but man, you know what? He has the looks, he has the size, he has a decent enough skills. I can make him a star, especially with my name. And that's how Ryan Garcia was made. Was pretty much off the back of Oscar De La Hoya's name. And
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
true.
people don't want to acknowledge, to a certain extent, Oscar did make Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez was fighting on the undercards of Floyd Mayweather and some other undercards. So Oscar has a big hand, but it's Oscar's name. He's the golden boy. He's like promoter turn fighter turn promoter, and he was one of the first fighters to get a deal with HBO. So, but like what you said with Floyd Mayweather, the TMT, it's not even a real promotion. Like, I don't even think he has a promoter's license. They always fight under PBC or something like that.
Yeah. So, and I'll say though, the cool thing about I guess in the Munguia conference, right? Canelo had addressed to Oscar directly, or I don't know if he said it to the journalists or the fans, but he had said that even before going with Golden Boy Promotions, that he was already somewhat of a star or name in Jalisco, right, or other parts in Mexico. At least some of that is true, of course. But yeah, when he went to Golden Boy, it definitely catapulted his career, right, in the States, making more money. So yeah, it was because of Oscar's name, the Golden Boy.
He was able to fight on those undercards against like a Mosley, against like a Josecito Lopez. Oscar knew how to move, and with Ryan too, right? You're fighting under Golden Boy, on Golden Boy, taking pictures to Oscar De La Hoya. So they're gonna look at Oscar and they're gonna look at Ryan, and they're gonna make that association, right? So when people see Gervonta, it's like, what is that called? Getting put on. You ever heard that term?
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Yeah, if I went to those channels and they said, "Oh, hey, Frank Bay, they're putting me on," and then I'm gonna be associated with them, and then I'm gonna get those likes and followers. But I'm probably gonna have to stay to the propaganda. But just when they seen Gervonta, they seen Floyd, and they think, oh, if Floyd co-signs him, that's the other term. then he must be good, right? That thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like Floyd must know talent. He must know who the best is. So Gervonta must be the best. That's why Tio is bragging about signing with Canelo. So now people are gonna say, "Oh shit, Tio, Fimo, and Canelo. That's a powerhouse. Like if Canelo co-signs Tio, then he must be the goods." Now we're already saying it. Like Mars says, Frankie, you hear Tio say he's fighting under Canelo banner. I guess Reynoso's manager. Like now we're all gonna say, "Oh shit, salute HLD." Oh shit, Tio, man, he's with Canelo. Man, Canelo must see something in him, you know?
That's interesting. Yeah, on the Canelo promotions. Yeah, man. Maybe that's what I'm saying. 2025 is going to be a good year, like as in your thumbnail, you know. 2025, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, did you see Beterbiev in the ring, right? In the
doing some like
today.
spider push-ups or something like that? Is that what they called it?
I mean, but he was doing some pretty. I mean, he looked good, light on his feet. He was doing some shadow boxing on. I'm like, same speed to my eyes, man. Same speed as Bivol in the warm up today. But yeah, man.
Breaking news.
Same prediction you got, bro.
Hold on, let me just get to this. Yeah, hold on. Tio submitted a legal letter. HLD says, yeah, I seen that. So Tio, is he saying he's a free agent? I seen it in a video. He said he was going. He's with Canelo. He said he's with Canelo now. So I don't think he should have said that. That could be he could get in trouble for that if he's saying it before. And then Earl Spence and Fedor is a done deal. Breaking news: Fedor Spence is a done deal. Now back to the fight.
It's interesting. Yeah, where does that leave Crawford then?
He doesn't want to fight. I really believe he doesn't want to fight. That's my instinct. That's my gut. Is he's not interested in fighting anybody but Canelo Alvarez. But see, this is the problem, and this is the good thing. This is what I said. These guys, Morrell and Benavidez, fighting. They know that they have to do that to make Canelo noise. And Bud Crawford thinks that he can use the media and pundits to push to get Canelo Alvarez to fight him, but he don't got nothing. Now you were saying Beterbiev my pick.
Yeah, I mean your prediction before. I think we were both picking. I was picking Beterbiev. I still am, but I don't know about you because now we're 2 days away. Curious how you feel about it.
Well, shit, man. I mean, look, Beterbiev is 39, and he's coming off an injury. I had him before, but I think the logical pick is Dimitri Bivol because he's a great fighter. He's a legit great fighter. I think the winner of this leapfrogs Terrence Crawford and maybe Inouye. That's maybe a hot take, but I think the winner leapfrogs. And imagine if Beterbiev knocks this motherfucker out though. Like imagine what that's gonna do. Like, okay, he just knocked out a great fighter. They're both. I think I posted the HLD says no, he's not. Well, that's what it looked like he said. So, like I said, he should. I think Tio, man, he has foot and mouth disease. He says things before he should. Like, bro, you got there's real legal shit involved in these things. Here it is. So it's Usyk, Inouye, Crawford, Canelo, Jesse Rodriguez, Beterbiev, and Dimitri Bivol 6 and 7. Look at that motherfucker. He looks like the fucking Wolverine. It's crazy that a lot of people are picking Bivol, but isn't it kind of disrespectful to think that this guy's gonna get outboxed when he's literally 100% knockout ratio?
Yeah, it's like the thing, Frankie, is that people forget, man. But even before this fight, everybody's always saying, well, what happens when, let's say Canelo, when he touches you, right? With either the plant fight or the Berlanga or Munguia or whoever, they always say, well, when he touches you, what are you going to do, right? So they're not really asking the same question on Beterbiev and Bivol. And I keep saying, man, when it comes down to actually fighting, like how much can Bivol, sustain, man? The cumulative body punches, man, because obviously he's never felt power like Beterbiev, man. They like to say Canelo. Lately, the last 2 days, people are comparing Beterbiev and Canelo. I'm like, that's not the same, man. Beterbiev obviously more heavy-handed than Canelo.
Right.
So, I just think honestly, man, the later rounds, I think it's gonna accumulate too much to Bivol. And I have no doubt that Bivol's gonna look nice in this fight. If he's gonna have a really good game plan, yeah, he's gonna look nice. He's gonna have some really good boxing. But Beterbiev knows the way.
Oh damn, he was just about to break it down, and okay, he's back. Why does it keep happening? You got cut off.
How about now?
Okay, you're good.
All right, well, you go, man. I don't know when it came. I don't know when it went off or whatever.
Okay, hold on. No, continue. You were cooking, man. Continue. I got a new guest coming to the stage. HLD, salute. Jump in when you want. But El Cuerpo, finish your thought.
Yeah, but I think we had mentioned before, and maybe you even mentioned it as well. Like, how is Bivol going to respond to that firepower, man? Because I'm telling you, man, we seem to forget the word freeze. Freeze up. When someone touches you with heavy-handed power, man, I'm telling you, it changes your game plan, and that goes for a lot of great fights that we've called before or that we've seen. But sometimes they just respond differently, right? Like, what if Bivol's too much on his feet after the 6th round, let's say, and he's not really accumulating points? Those rounds might just go to Beterbiev. So it's gonna be a really interesting fight, man. I'm excited. It's a pretty good card in general, right?
Well, I love how the boxing news starts to pick up. It's like we just got like 5 fights announcements, right? Remember I was talking about, man, it's so dry, it's so slow, ain't shit going on. The whole thing was Bud and Tio, and then all of a sudden in 2 days, Canelo Japan, Morrell Benavidez. But go ahead, Cook HLD.
What's going on, Frank?
What's good?
I don't know, man. I this fight with Bivol and Beterbiev, it goes only one or two ways. Beterbiev is able to catch him and knock him out, or Bivol's gonna outpoint him and win on the scorecards. It's as simple as that. And yeah, if he catches him, of course he can knock him out. We know that. But can he catch him? Can he catch the most efficient? That Bivol is the most efficient defensive fighter in all of boxing, right? This guy doesn't get hit, and we all thought that it was Shakur. So I got Bivol winning this fight. I think he's extremely disciplined enough to not change his game plan. I've never seen him change his game plan. He's that pendulum in and out boxer, and he's gonna jab the shit out of Beterbiev. That's the way I see it. Unless he loses, a concentration one part of the win, because that can happen. I mean, it's the fight game. But I think he is like one of the most disciplined fighters in the game. And I see him outpointing Beterbiev for 12 rounds. Yeah, it might be actually a boring fight.
There it is. Salute BDA, jumping any time to cook. Don't let anybody cook you though, BDA.
Nobody cooks BDA. Nobody cooks BDA. BDA does the cooking.
Hey,
hey, I was surprised, man. I was surprised because today they always release like on around Wednesday. The Ring TV releases their picks. They interview like about 20 people and experts and commentators and the like, and and they give their picks. And I was surprised, man. It was 15 for Bivol, 5 for Beterbiev. And most of the people that I look at on Twitter, on the YouTube sphere, or in message boards, a lot of people are going Beterbiev. I mean, but they're not saying Beterbiev and Bivol has no chance because it's still a relatively close fight. It's almost close to 50-50. But I was surprised at how so many people on Ring TV were picking Bivol, 15-5.
That's the people, they love the sweet science, going for the what they think is the pure boxer. And that's what I said. It's kind of disrespectful. This guy, he has 100% knockout ratio. And these are against, you said it yesterday, against top quality guys. Who else has 100% in boxing?
Father Time is undefeated, man. And this guy is old. He's strong as an ox. Don't take that away from him. But here's the thing, he is old.
What Mr. HLD said, though, I think he said, if he gets hit, but I think a lot of fans, they assume that Beterbiev only needs to go for like head hunting. It's also the accumulation, man. As I say, to the cuerpo, can Bivol sustain that type of, damage for the whole 12 rounds? And I don't think anybody can. Effect, no?
Nobody can.
I think you said, if Bivol rarely gets hit, I mean, man, I can't recall how many fights, but he does get in exchanges. I mean, look at the Canelo fight. I think, to me, Beterbiev has more of a longer reach than Canelo, and if he lands on those arms, man, I'm telling you, it's Bivol might freeze up in this fight. That's what I'm thinking, and I hope I'm right, man, because I'm a big fan of body punching. So I want to see how Bivol reacts to the body punching, and not so much we focus on head hunting, because Beterbiev doesn't necessarily have to head hunt you to hurt you, right? Especially on the ropes. As he tore up Yard and Callum Smith. So I'm really excited for this fight, Frankie.
That's the only argument that there is about that. If he catches you, yeah, you're gonna be in trouble, and I think nobody disagrees with that. Mm-hmm. But he's never fought a dude like this. I think most of it. I mean, everybody forgets the ass whooping he gave to Zurdo Ramirez.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And we always talk about the Canelo fight. No, this guy whooped the shit out of Zurdo Ramirez. Gave him a master class. And so I really believe this guy is that disciplined. You know what I mean? And he's stoic. They're both stoic. But he's got his discipline dialed in, just like Beterbiev has got his. So that's when you come down to it, I'm going to favor the boxer, more disciplined boxer, who's younger than the old Hawks.
I don't know about Beterbiev's power. He doesn't really have the power that drops you with a flash knockdown early in the fight. He really does. I mean, when he stops guys early, it's because he just whacks them, and they don't go down, but they get wobbled, and the referee stops the fight. So if he's gonna, I suspect that if he's gonna take out Bivol, it's gonna be late. I don't expect him to just hit Bivol in the first 3 rounds and Bivol's gonna go down. I mean, it's this guy hits hard, but the last guy he fought, the best guy he ever fought so far was Gvozdyk, and Gvozdyk made it to the 10th round, I believe. Right. So it's if Gvozdyk can go 10 rounds back in 2019, that's 5 years later. Beterbiev is older. He's gonna. I mean, like he beat Gvozdyk, but he was actually pacing himself rather well, and he went all the way up to the 10th round. So, what happens if he paces himself a little bit too much now that he's older? Because that's what happens with older fighters. Obviously Beterbiev can still do what he does or what he used to do 5 years ago, but can he do it as often? That's the thing with older fighters. They wait, and then they go, okay, I'm gonna turn it on now, and then all of a sudden they realize, oh shit, the gas tank's not as full as when I was 33 years old. So that's a big risk right there for Beterbiev.
He does fight, or they kind of almost mirror each other. Canelo and him, they both pace themselves now. They both pace themselves, and it's the accumulative effect that takes these guys out or breaks them down heavily. Right. So that's why I really favor Bivol for those reasons, because I think youth is gonna play a major factor.
Yeah, because everybody paces themselves, but what I'm saying is Beterbiev paces himself a little bit more. I don't know if that makes any sense. In other words, it's not like he was dominating Gvozdyk throughout the fight, although I did have him winning. By the way, I was rewatching that fight yesterday. I don't know what the commentators were. They were making it out to be as if it was 15, close going into the 10th round. I think they were trying to make it out to be as if it was more competitive than it really was. But I'm still picking Beterbiev, but I don't know, man. After I watched the Gvozdyk fight, even though again it was impressive that he beat a guy as good as Gvozdyk and stopped him, I don't know if he's gonna be able to maintain that tempo now against a guy like Bivol. So I'm a little more uncertain now coming into this fight.
And the business side says, just on the business side, there's more money having Bivol win this fight to have a fight with Canelo than Beterbiev.
Yeah, maybe if Canelo's willing to do that, I don't know.
Has anybody talked about the ring size? Is going to be a bigger ring for Bivol, and are they going to have neutral judges?
It's a good question.
From where would you have the judges from? One from the what are they?
They're both Russians, so
a UK. Usually they have a American judge, a UK, some kind of UK or Canadian judge, and then maybe a judge from maybe some side where they're at.
Venezuela, maybe get some American there. I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of do it, instead of having an all UK panel, or I think that's what happened with what was it, Josh Taylor and Catterall, and that's when Bob Arum went off. So I'm never fucking coming here again.
Because this fight, which belts are on the line? All of them, or?
Yeah, it's undisputed.
Okay, so well, I don't know that. I was gonna say that if it was the WBA who had precedence or something, they'd get somebody from. Where's the WBA from? I always forget.
right.
Puerto Rico
No, I know what you mean.
WBA is in Puerto Rico, I think.
Right. Or is it? I always confuse WBA and WBO. I know one of them is Venezuela, the other one's Puerto Rico. But yeah, okay, I don't know. The rings, the size of the ring, that's the one that's interesting. Yeah, because obviously, smaller the ring, the better it is for Beterbiev. But I don't know, man. Hey, that's one of the other big questions too. Is people go, well, Beterbiev's been dropped twice, and I'm thinking, yeah, but can Bivol get that done? I'm pretty sure he can get Beterbiev's respect, but can he drop him?
I don't think so. I don't think that Bivol's got that. That's in Bivol's game. He's definitely he'll get some respect, but he's not a power puncher by no means.
No, in the last fight that Bivol had, he fought some Middle Eastern guy. He was actually, I thought he lost maybe a round or two. He was getting pieced up because he wanted to exchange with the guy, and he just, for my money, if you guys watch it, he looked awkward trying to exchange.
He was trying to be something he's not.
There it is, because I think he heard like the Lyndon Arthur fight was a dull affair. I mean, it was kind of dull. It was really lackluster, and then so he tried to turn it up, but it didn't suit him. So no, I definitely don't see him trying to exchange with this guy, but he might have to.
You never know, Frank. You want that Russian machismo kicks in, man. We'll see what happens in those exchanges.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that he doesn't have that he really doesn't have that machismo in him. He's a very disciplined fighter. I don't see him being swayed or from what he is, and he knows it. He can't fuck around with this dude. I mean, nobody really can. You get caught, you're gonna get knocked out. That's just, you're gonna get hurt. Let's put it that way. You're gonna sustain damage. There's a reason why he didn't want to go at Canelo when Canelo's come on in. He was like, nah, man, we fighting in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, there was even a clip when he had Canelo on the ropes, and he started stringing combos together. Bivol did, and then he missed with a left hook and went running like the momentum from the left hook led him to run all the way to the other side of the ring. I'm thinking, and Canelo was staring at him like, what the fuck's going on here? So he was very conscious of not wanting to get into Canelo's wheelhouse, which is smart. But that's the thing, though, that if we're talking about Beterbiev's body shots, going back to the Gvozdyk fight, Beterbiev was doubling him over with straight rights to the body. Straight rights to the body hurt, but when you're getting doubled over by right hands, that's a power puncher right there. So Bivol does sort of, there's an opening there for those right hands downstairs. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles those.
And as HLD said, he said maybe it might even be a boring fight, because I'm sure you guys agree that in a lot of cases, man, fighters have to recalibrate their output, depending on who they're facing. For example, look at the Crawford versus Madrimov fight, which I said, the Virgil Ortiz and Bojack outperformed that by like 3 times with the CompuBox. And we know Crawford and Madrimov didn't do a lot of risk taking. So in my eyes, also, Bivol might actually be very conservative in this fight, and his output might not be there. For one, he doesn't want to affect his stamina going to 12 rounds, right? Because as you know, man, when you're nervous and there's a lot of pressure, man, it affects your breathing, and that definitely affects your stamina going to the late rounds. So with that being said, that's something that Beterbiev might have an advantage in gaining points early, or as HLD said, if it's a boring fight, Beterbiev might also coast to a decision if that's the case, man. I'm just banking, for me personally, that Bivol's gonna freeze up in this fight going the second half, because I'm also giving Beterbiev benefit of doubt. It's his time to shine too, right? This is undisputed. He has to go all out for his Russian fans, so that's why I'm leaning more towards Beterbiev for the stoppage with those calibration factors with output.
Do these guys have fans, by the way? Because I don't know. Every time they fight in Russia, nobody shows up, man.
That's what he said for the round. Like, man, how many are? I mean, you know what? I mean, maybe over here, we're there's not that many, but out in Russia, I mean, it's well over 100 million, right? So I mean, they're gonna be tuning in.
When you check out the comments, like in a lot of the channels, man, a lot of that stuff's in Russian, man. It's like you have to hit the translate little button. So they're definitely on it, which is a good thing. So it's an important fight, man.
Vodka.
Look, I mean, the only reason we got this is because Turkey Boy, he made it happen with his bank account, right? Like, so the fans, American fans, it looks like it's getting hyped now, but you would think it would have been a month's worth of hype. They're literally now just like you said. I seen that Ring tweeted they're gonna do their analysis and breakdown, but they're doing it 2 days before the fight. Like, don't people want to see this on Monday or Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't think there's that much buzz for the fight, really. As you know, maybe us hardcores, yeah, but outside of it, there's no buzz. I don't see it.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Crawford Spence too. They tried to push. I mean, obviously that one got more because it was too American, so it got a little bit more press. But even then, they tried to push it, and it seemed like a lot of the mainstream world didn't care. But you know what's interesting about this too is Beterbiev. They were interviewing his coach a couple of days ago, and he said that Beterbiev told him, "Look, guys like Bivol, I fought 100 of them in the amateurs." And apparently, they even brought one of his old Russian coaches just to fine tune things on how to fight a guy like Bivol. So. I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing to fight a guy from 3 rounds in the amateurs. Now you're fighting. Now he's older, first of all, 39, and you got to do it for all 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 different aspects. HLD says that Bivol's gonna 12-0 him, and now Cuerpo says he's gonna be a deer in the headlights. What's going? And the BDA, I don't know. You seem kind of. You're being like that guy the other day. It's like you're
like official. No. I'm not being like. No, I'm going Beterbiev. All I'm saying is, if you ask me, am I confident in my pick? I would say no. But wait a minute. So HLD, you said 12-0 Bivol?
No, I didn't say that. That's Frank putting extra sauce on that.
I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get them to go at each other.
No, I said
BDA.
I said basically this fight goes only one of 2 ways. A stoppage by Beterbiev or decision for Bivol. Those are the only 2 outcomes. I don't see Beterbiev winning on the cards, and obviously I don't see Bivol knocking Beterbiev out. So
interesting.
And Al Cuerpo said Bivol's gonna get caught in the headlights. That's his prediction.
Here, one guy's 40 and the other guy's 33.
Yeah, I would definitely want to see some knockdowns though in the fight, at least, you know. So, but also look at the politics too, right? You guys had mentioned 2 Russian judges, right? Who does this benefit more for the Riyadh season?
Well, that was
the
a question I said.
Beterbiev? Yeah, the Muslim Beterbiev or the I guess the Asian Russian Bivol against Opataya. Who does it benefit more to promote here forward, you know? So, also think about the judges, man.
Well, that was my question is, are they going to have neutral judges? Will it be slanted one way? Well, they're both Russian though, right? So I guess that won't make a difference. But yeah, the politics is always a thing, especially with the ring size. There's no real ace side. Well, Beterbiev does have the advantage with the 3 belts, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's the A side,
I think I got the name. We got one American judge. It's going to be Glenn Feldman. We're going to have Spain's Judge Manuel Oliver Palomo and Paweł Cardini of Poland.
Okay, so I was right. I said UK, but I meant Europe. See, I was right. and then I said, Poland, I guess, is near, Eastern European, so that's maybe the Eastern European side, where the neutral ground. Wasn't Poland neutral? So
yeah, they're not part of the
yeah, they're considered like a neutral ground,
right? Moimi Popolski.
So it looks like it's, and then an American judge, so it looks like it'll be fair, at least from the judging. Now, these guys don't hold, so you don't really have to worry about a ref, right? Like a ref, nah.
The ref does? Hell yeah.
Oh, well, because they said Beterbiev dirty, so the ref might come into play, right? Because a lot of people have said he does a lot of rabbit punching.
He does.
I think that's how we knocked down Joe Smith, right? He hit him behind the head.
It was questionable. I put it that way. I would say it was definitely a questionable punch.
And with that,
he's coughing him
too, right?
He's coughing him. He's coughing from. He's not exactly. clinching and then boom, hitting them behind the back of the head. Although I
Right.
know some people on Discord, on our Discord, say that that's what he's doing, and that's why they call him Beterbiev instead of Beterbiev. Now I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the entire fights to see if indeed he's doing that. But yeah, neither guy's a big clincher. Bivol, I don't think, because he controls the fight so well, he rarely has to clinch. I can't remember the last time I saw him clinch. But Beterbiev, again, he doesn't need to, because again, he's a fucking monster coming forward. They have to clinch him. So yeah, I don't expect too much clinching in this one.
No, that's why the only time the ref may come into play is when if he has to warn Beterbiev about, dirty punches or the rabbit punches. But yeah, I think the ref, is when you have to deduct a point, when you get the Haneys trying to hold a lot. There was a judge, that Taylor guy. He's a new, he's kind of new, and he's taking points for hugging. But yeah, no, this is I think this is Beterbiev's. It's the age, though. If the age and the injury, I think it's him all the way. But I mean, right now, who'd you say the favorite was? I think
it's Beterbiev. I mean, excuse me, Bivol, man.
They got Bivol. I think Vegas got Bivol.
Yeah.
Add what, about 2-1?
I gotta look it up. You know what? That ring size can be tricky. It'll be between an 18 and 20 foot ring, because that Beterbiev with Smith was an 18-foot ring. What I'm reading.
Yeah, it looked like a small ring.
Yeah, it was an 18-foot ring. So
the only smaller ring I ever seen was Canelo versus Ryder. It looked like a shoebox. You guys remember that?
It was like a 16 one, right?
They literally, I swear, it was literally like if Ryder took a 2 steps back, he was against the ropes, and then the other way too. It was literally a shoebox. I was like, because it was in Mexico City, I was like, this is insane. They let him get away with this. Like,
wasn't the Dubois Joshua ring too? I think it was rather small.
Well, those guys are giants, but yeah. Well, who's that going to benefit though? It was going to benefit AJ.
I think they thought that. Yeah, I think they thought that he was gonna back Dubois up.
Okay, yeah. In this, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Like a bigger ring favors Dimitri Bivol, but shit, man. Dimitri Bivol, he stood with Zurdo, so a lot of people are saying he's gonna move and box. But I remember him standing with Zurdo.
He's not the A side. That's for sure.
Zurdo, I mean, Zurdo doesn't fucking. He gets stuck. I'm not saying that he's got his feet are in the mud, because he can actually move when he wants to, but when he's coming forward and you throw shots at him, it freezes him. He gets stuck. He starts moving the waist and he just stands there. I mean, yeah, no, compare Beterbiev with Zurdo. I think
no,
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think even Canelo, even though he's not like Beterbiev, but he's closer to Beterbiev than Zurdo is.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Zurdo's always trying to box.
Yeah, no, it's just it was surprising that, because Zurdo had like the highest output, and people thought he was gonna go brawl with Bivol to make it a fight, and then he decided to box, and then it was actually Bivol who stood his ground in the first like 3 rounds, kind of changed the fight,
and then he started pushing him.
So that's what I'm saying. I hate when boxers, like, is Beterbiev gonna try to outsmart? What do they call it? Outsmart himself and be like, you know what? I'm gonna try to box. I'm gonna surprise him.
No, I don't think. I think they're gonna stick to who they are, man. These guys are not changing. They're gonna stick to who they are. And Bivol's on record saying he doesn't care about the size of the ring. If he said, as long as I'm in shape, it doesn't matter if it's an 18-foot ring. So he's only got one belt.
What's interesting about this? Neither guy is talking that much, and they're gonna fight. Meanwhile, you've got guys on Twitter talking. And they're never gonna fight. I mean, it is kind of sad that if it wasn't for Turkey Al-Sheikh and his perverted ways, we wouldn't be getting this fight. Because even Bob Arum had said in 2022, I think, when they were trying to make this fight, he said, "Well, look, there's no money," and it's true, because look, nobody. Again, in Russia, these guys, when they fight in Russia, nobody goes really. They're not that big a crowd watching them. They don't really attract money over for some reason. Then when they fight here, it's like, well, hardcore fans, we know who these guys are, but again, they want to get paid a lot of money, but the money's not there. So if it wasn't for the Turk, who knows whether this would happen? But did you talk about, Frank? Did you talk about the Teofimo Lopez Crawford thing?
I talked about it the other night, but you can elaborate. This is like HLD's.
But real quick on the Bivol fight, you got to remember that the WBC was not going to sanction this fight for Bivol.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because so he had to change his residence. He's no longer a resident of Russia. I don't know if he's Canadian or he's now here in San Diego, one of those two.
Yeah, essentially, this fight is between a guy from Canada, Montreal, Canada, versus a guy from Indio, California.
Yeah, there you go. So he had to change residence so that WBC would allow this fight to sanction.
Did Tio and Kendrick Lamar? Yeah, this is HLD's stomping ground. I think he's really.
Well, I didn't want to change the subject unless we were.
No. I mean, yeah, I think we kind of broke it all down. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the Tio Bud?
Well, listen, I mean, if people want to be offended by what Teofimo Lopez said, fine. I mean, people have the right to be offended. However, I think I don't know. I'm not American, so I don't know about the Constitution and all that. But is there a right to go out and assault people because they said something you didn't like? Because that's what I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying. There was this guy from, I think the guy who trains Caleb Plant, the breadman. Yeah. He said something along the lines of, what Teofimo Lopez said crossed the line, and it's within Crawford's right if he wants to have a conversation with him. And I'm thinking, well, I think we all know what he's trying to say by conversation, see each other face to face. And Crawford is known for that. He was a street fighter back in the day because his mother was egging him on. His crazy mother was egging him on to get into street fights. When Benavidez Jr. pushed him, she tried to take a swing at him. And I'm thinking, that to me is like, look, Teofimo Lopez, what he said, if Crawford felt disrespected by that, okay, he's got a right to. Who am I to tell him, no, you can't be disrespected? But then to be talking about, and then people on in the Twitter comments saying, yeah, man, he's been greenlit. I saw a couple of people saying that Teofimo Lopez being greenlit. I'm thinking, you're gonna physically attack a guy because he said something you dislike. And then on top of that, Crawford said a couple of days ago, before this brouhaha started, there was an interview where he said, oh man, if I said what Teofimo Lopez said, you wouldn't hear the end of it. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, you told Jose Benavidez Jr. you were going to beat the burritos out of him, and nothing happened. So let's stop pretending like, oh my God, if the tables were turned. No, they have been turned and nothing happens. It's a slap in the wrist. Meanwhile, a guy like that, Ryan Garcia, gets the WBC messing with him. He gets the video game taken away from him. But Terence Crawford, it wasn't really that racist what he said, and it's not in the same stratosphere. It's like, all right, maybe it's not in the same stratosphere, but Crawford said, if I said something racist or stereotypically racist, and that's what it was. And again, I'm Mexican. I don't care, man. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say, but I'm just trying to say, keep it fair and balanced. Don't be a hypocrite. And his fans too, they can't act like psychos and go assaulting people.
It's a little combination of selective outrage, double standards, and whatnot. And this is boxing too. It's like, what the fuck? How, you know what I mean? Like, this is boxing. You know what I mean? There's always been some controversial shit, when it comes to this. But at the same time, even Crawford, has posted before, like, oh, how come every time you hear like Asian speaking, you think that that they're arguing and shit like that? Like, because. So there's just selective outrage and whatnot, and I don't like yourself, hey, I mean, people say shit, I'm not taking it to heart, man. Like when Hopkins stomped on my flag, you know what I mean? And like, dude, I still like the dude. I mean, yeah, it was, at the moment for the fight and the build-up, yeah, man, beat that motherfucker's ass, but no ill will, man, because it's the fight game, bro. It's part of the build-up. This guy's trying to trigger these two guys, either Crawford or Tank, to pick up the fight. And then they're defended. They're in their right to want to whoop his ass in the ring. Accept the fight.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like you said, they can say whatever they want. I'm still going to watch them fight. And that's the thing with Terence Crawford. Whenever he fights again in 6 or 8 months from now, because, he only fights once a year nowadays. Right. When he fights, I'm going to watch him fight. I don't really give a shit what they say. And on top of that, I see people, his fans now saying, yeah, don't give him the fight, Terence, because he's a racist. Don't give him the fight. And I'm thinking, well, who is he going to fight then? Because he's not terribly interested in fighting any of the other younger guys, junior middleweights.
You should have heard the other day, somebody said, I call him Bernie the retard. He's Team Crawford over there. And he was on The Voice, and bro, he was going local over there. What if we call him a wetbag and a spick? And he's saying, I'm all right, man. But am I offended? You know what I mean? You're saying
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Yeah, and then get him to fight. Like, what's the issue here?
What the fuck? Like, so. Oh, what if I say? Well, you did just say it, motherfucker. So I mean, you know, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking pussy hurt about it. I want to see the fight.
There needs to be a no racism, no life, or a no tweeting, no life, no thug life, no life.
Well, like I said, look, man, I respect everybody in itself. I don't really like getting into any of the back and forth of race shit, and you know, oh, you said it, and I can say it back to you, and all that, because you know, two wrongs don't make a right. But I'm not, you know, fucking acting like a wet paper bag that, you know, I can't hold it, man. It's gonna tear me up. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, I see more people offend, like the people that are signing with Crawford and saying don't give him the payday, and you know he's been greenlit. How come they don't act this way when Terrence, you know, okay, so they're acting this way because somebody said something, but they don't act this way when somebody actually does something. Like, you know, Tank Davis running over a pregnant lady and then running away when she's asking for help. I mean, that to me is 10 times worse than anything Teofimo Lopez said. So I'm confused, man. This whole sentiment in society nowadays, especially here in the West, where words make you a demon, but actions, those are okay. I don't know. I grew up differently. To me, it was always actions speak louder than words. But it seems to me like when the fabric of society nowadays, it's too many people talk and they see that as action. And then when somebody actually does something, it was like, I don't know. I didn't see it, so it didn't happen.
Like actual bigotry, you know, when you're doing something to purposely hurt whatever other creed that you may not like and all that type of shit, you know what I mean? You're preventing somebody from whatever means of what they want to do because you don't like their race. And that's where I think actions of being like offended about it and like, yo, what the fuck? But you know, this sensitivity shit, yo, man, we all have everything in our creed to make fun of. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
You know,
it's
that brought to mind something you guys are talking about. Is like, is one day a fighter going to sue Canelo Alvarez? Could Bud say, you know what, Canelo won't fight me because I'm black because he's racist, right? Like, I'm gonna sue Canelo Alvarez because he's not fighting me because I'm black. You know what I mean? Like Canelo's racist, like a bit like he didn't hire me because I'm black, so he's gonna sue Canelo Alvarez with that he doesn't want to give him a payday.
Crawford did sue Bob Arum because he said he was racist, so he, you know, not too far of a stretch of imagination.
But it was thrown out, and he was the top paid welterweight. But my thing is like, you know, especially with these lawsuits thing, is like, I think Ryan Garcia said he slept with Caleb Plant's wife. Like, that's hilarious. Like, is he gonna get sued for that? Like, everybody's doing all this bitch shit.
He did get sued.
Caleb Plant is suing Ryan Garcia too?
No, his wife.
Oh, because Ryan said he slept with her?
Yeah, there's an official lawsuit for slander.
Oh my, maybe he did though. Allegedly.
Hey man, let I can't wait for that discovery subpoena.
Yeah. But I mean, think about it. If I'm gonna fight somebody, I'm gonna say anything. I slept with your wife. I slapped your mama. Like, we're fighting. I'm gonna say.
Let the pussy talk about it. He chimed in on Ryan Garcia's shit, calling him a cheater, blah blah blah. So you're gonna go out your way to talk shit about this, bro? You gotta handle it. No different than when Bill Haney was talking about Henry Garcia's toupee, his man unit.
Yeah.
So he came back with an nappy head. I'm like, what? Now you gonna be offended? What type of bitch assness is that?
I agree, man. You start something, and then all of a sudden, you go after somebody, and then you draw a line about what they can hit you back with. I mean, that to me is a little outrageous.
You can't control how the other person is gonna react. You're fucking around. You just have to say, like, fuck around, find out. You can't control what the find out is gonna be. So you gotta be able to understand it. You're gonna have to deal with it. And so these people don't want to deal with it. So like this dude was talking shit about Ryan Garcia, calling him a cheater, blah blah blah. So he got I'm gonna hit you right between the eyes with your wife.
Yeah, Rolly Romero was talking hella shit about Pitbull, calling him a little cheeklet seller and vendor, and he didn't go out and sue and say that was racist. Like, come on, man. Like,
nobody really got offended. You know, it's like a selective outrage. You know what I mean? And and trying to bring this woke pussyfooting shit into the most barbaric sport we have.
Yeah, you can go punch the guy, and that's what Terrence Crawford. Well, see, that's the thing. He said he wants to pull up on Theo in a street fight. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, just fight him. But he gets a pass, right? But Terrence Crawford gets a pass to be able to say, hey, I want to pull up on the street. I mean, you know, just say you're gonna run him over then. Like, fucking.
Oh, I thought he was a man of society, right? He's, you know, an example, a husband, a father, right? Where's that role model shit? Now you're talking about street fighting.
I mean, Mike Tyson was going on rants about eating kids. Like, you can't even, like, that would be crazy today if someone talked about eating kids, especially with all the, you know, the allegations, and you guys know the stories. But and then he made.
I don't talk to women unless, you know, you want to fornicate.
And Mike said he was gonna make love, bang men, and make them love him. Imagine.
But you remember when he told the reporter, you know, I don't talk to women unless you want to fornicate.
Yeah, he said that actually to a reporter. So, I mean, people forget these things, man. Camacho used to say that. Didn't Hector Camacho used to say the N-word? Like, people loved him for that. He would say the hard ER too.
Well, it's because his mother is black.
No, a lot of these, you got, you know, I criticize fighters, and, you know, criticize in the sense that I criticize them and give them positive criticism and negative criticism. Sometimes when I do the negative criticism, yeah, I'll go a little overboard because, you know, we're here to entertain people. So sometimes I do forget, like, oh shit, I'm talking about actual real people. So, you know, whenever somebody insults me, I'm like, listen, I don't have to like it, but if you're gonna dish it out, you better be able to take it. And a lot of these guys out there, you know, it's the same thing with stand-up comedy nowadays. These stand-up comedians pretend to be the arbiters of free speech, but then when I've seen people go at them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you crossed the line. I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, what about the freedom of speech thing you were talking about earlier? Because I mean, we can agree that there's such a thing as bad taste, but not to be championing free speech and then complain and say that something crossed the line. I don't know if that's quite how it works. And so that's what these fighters, you know, when what was the name of that fighter? It was he was in gay porn at one point.
Whoa! What the
yeah. Yusuf Mack was a super middleweight, light heavyweight contender. All of a sudden, I don't know who found out. I'd hate to be that person, by the way, but somebody found him in a gay porno, and it became this big thing. And then there was a guy on Twitter that kept trolling him. So I don't know how Yusuf Mack tracked that guy down to a barbershop, and you can see the security footage beat that shit, like really laid him a beating. And people were saying, you know, there were some, you know, people were divided, and some people were saying, yeah, man, that's what the guy gets for trolling. You know, don't talk if you can't back it up. And I think, well, wait a minute, you're gonna assault somebody, now you go to jail, right? Now you get your freedom taken away from you. Now you got somebody telling you when to shit, when to work out, when you eat, when to sleep. Well, was it worth it? Because somebody was, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. There's nothing in the law, as far as I know, that says you have a right to assault somebody because they say something you dislike.
You know, I would say that Frankie's got a good point, though. It's like the simplest thing is to just make the fight, right? Because look, even like Joshua, when he gets into altercations, especially like in those round tables or on the outside, I think when he went on to fight was it Gerald Washington or whatever, AJ will usually say, hey man, we can fight right now, as in the Dubois round table, right? And they were going to fight right there. I mean, that's the same equivalent as a street fight, right? So anyways, I'm just saying that, you know, if Crawford wants if he wants to prove himself, I mean, he should just make the fight with Teofimo. And I would even say, doesn't that put Crawford in a more difficult situation if Teofimo is officially now with Canelo Alvarez, right? Promotions. I mean, what more can Crawford do? He's going to continue cloud chasing for a Canelo fight or a Teofimo fight. But you got a good
not official about the Canelo thing. He submitted a letter today to Top Rank, and contesting the validity of his extension of the contract right before the Sandor Martin fight, because the extension was supposed to kick in if he defeated Jose Pedraza. If you guys remember, he was a last-minute replacement, Sandor Martin. And if everybody remembers, even back then, Sandor Martin rejected the first offer. That's how they landed to Pedraza. But Sandor Martin, when they did the switcheroo, even he was saying he always knew he was going to fight Tio. So there's some dirty work, and I remember I know a little more than I can even say, but it was funny business how they put Sandor Martin in the fight. And we took it because all right, he's a better opponent. But Top Rank was playing some games behind the scenes with that, and so right now he's trying to contest the validity of that contract. That since he did not beat, because that's the language in the contract, it was to defeat Jose Pedraza, that an extension would kick in. And so since he didn't fight Pedraza, he's believing that the contract is invalid. And so we'll see.
Sounds like some legal schmiegel stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that he submitted a letter to them, a legal letter from the attorney, and it's not about litigation right now. It's not in court. It's just, hey, look, this is what I feel is what it is, and maybe they can come up to an agreement of buying out the contract.
Well, that would be a power move if he won Canelo, because I did hear Canelo say that Crawford needs to fight Tio first. That was something he said.
Canelo himself was asked, is Tio your team? Say, no, not yet. Canelo said out of his own mouth that Tio's not Team Canelo, but not yet. You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna probably try to work out a buyout, and then hopefully we can. Hey, I would love that to happen. To see if where his career then goes, and if he's gonna do everything a lot better, you know what I mean? Move differently and more. I don't know if I'm gonna put the right word, but maybe more professionally, and then there's discipline. Training with Team Canelo with Reynoso. How would that change him? I think it'll be very beneficial for this young man. Who's had it's kind of been lackluster with the inconsistencies, if you want to say that, and then the time off and all this stuff. And he's always been having an issue with Top Rank because they have played him dirty promoting him. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been very vocal about it. He said some controversial things, and then his monkey in the banana bit with Terrence Crawford. But BDA, you said
wasn't by accident.
Yeah, when you said that guy, I seen that too. It goes by Breadman. It's a lot of virtual signaling, and this is what I was thinking. It's like, bro, you're in the gym. You can't tell me you haven't heard worse. There's something called locker room talk, right? And a lot of teams go through this. Is like, you probably don't follow basketball, but Kobe Bryant was ratted out by like some nondescript player, and he was ostracized from the league. Like, it's locker room talk, bro. Like, you don't go and start crying to the media. It's like a no. So that's another thing. How does this guy have the nerve to say, oh, Tio better not? Like, dude, you guys say worse. Don't sit here and tell me you're in the gym and it's locker room talk and the boys are together and you're not talking about bitches and hoes and N-words and like, you say it too, man. It's being phony.
It is phony in itself, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it's also a little bit calculated because he's going against the corporation. He's going against Disney, right, or if you will, or with that ESPN, and maybe he's doing certain things. Maybe, who knows? I'm a little bit even more intentional so that they can say, man, get this guy out of here.
Oh, okay, that's another angle I didn't think of.
That's another angle.
That's the other thing, though.
Go ahead, BD.
Tank Davis, I understand Ryan Garcia is out of commission. Haney appears to be unwilling to fight this year. I know Lomachenko got tired of Tank Davis's antics. But why didn't Tank Davis fight Teofimo Lopez this year? Because as far as I know, Teofimo Lopez is the only one that didn't have anything scheduled. Because
the Loma thing, that was a distraction. That was bullshit. They used Loma for a distraction. They were always going to be fighting Roach. Roach knew that he was next up call before his fight with that he had in June, and he actually said that on the interview and Cigar Talk. You know what I mean? So it's Loma just got tired of the bullshit, man. F you guys. and do whatever you guys are. Yeah, all right, yeah, because I want to take time with my family. When the next week or so after that, he was at the fight with, without his family at the, I don't know what fight it was. It was a Canelo fight or something like that. So I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors, and
Yep.
so I don't ever expect that kid to ever fight anybody legit. He's a globetrotter. I don't even like talking about him anymore. I don't care. He wants to fight that dude, whatever, man. I'm not watching.
I think they're gonna cash him out. They're gonna cash him out like they did with Spence eventually. And that's the other thing, though. It's like the Tank Davis fans. What's that photograph, man? What the fuck?
That's Gervonta versus Lamont Roach.
Oh man, but the Tank Davis thing. I've said it before that when Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney or anybody else was calling out Tank Davis or just mentioning his name, Tank Davis fans would go, "Oh, you see, these guys are chasing Tank Davis. They need to fight him. All roads lead to Tank Davis." Now all of a sudden they're defending the Roach fight, saying, "Oh well, nobody wants to fight him." Well, which one is it? Do they want to fight him? They don't want to fight him. Like if he's the box office star, why all of a sudden is everyone scared to fight him? And now they're starting to realize this guy needs high level opposition to even create some traction. This pay-per-view is going to be like the third one straight that's bombed for, well, not the third one, but it's going to be the consecutive pay-per-view that's going to bomb.
He makes good enough money that they, you know what I mean, that it's profitable for them. So if it's just 200,000 pay-per-views, because he does, we cannot take it away. He does sell out a stadium. He sells it very well. People come out to see him. But and then on the pay-per-view side, that's whatever it is that they get, they're happy with it because it's enough to pay everybody. You know what I mean? And they keep the train going. And that's what it is. Now, real quick on the virtual signal we were just talking about. So Ryan Garcia said all that crazy shit, right? On that space, some real straight up racist shit. But they don't. But nobody has a problem with him fighting Devin Haney again. See what I mean? Like so Crawford. Oh no, he shouldn't fight Teofimo. But we're okay with Devin Haney. He should try to get that fight with that racist Ryan Garcia. Like you see how the selective outrage works.
Oh yeah, definitely all the time. But that's why I'm sitting here talking about it.
You know what I like? What's pure when Teo and Crawford go at each other on their resumes. That's kind of interesting, right? Because obviously that Lomachenko and the win against Taylor, right? Giving Taylor his first loss, that's not that bad, man. When you compare that to, obviously Crawford has a, I guess you could say better resume, but as far as like
he has a deeper resume because he's older.
Lomachenko is a good win.
If my opinion, and this is what I say, I say Teofimo at 135 and 140 has eclipsed what Crawford did at 135 and 140, all by the age of 25 years old. I'm not saying anything about 147, and I'm not saying what he's doing right now but by 25 years old, and those two divisions, Teal has eclipsed them. And you can name me one fighter on Crawford's resume that equivalates to a Lomachenko and a Taylor. I don't see it. We know that Spencer was a car crash test dummy.
Well, I was going to say, Crawford, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he bring up Didn't Crawford bring up Lomachenko's injury when he was breaking down the resumes? Or am I mistaken? He did?
No,
okay,
he did.
So there you go. So it's interesting because he was crying, literally almost crying, when people were discrediting his Errol Spence when saying, I knew people were going to say excuses. But he's quick to bring up the Teofimo Lopez Lomachenko excuse, saying Lomachenko was injured, which is true. But all I'm saying is, he was injured. Lomachenko was injured, but it's also true that fucking Errol Spence was a shell of his former self. He was a fucking husk of himself. He was a drunk. When I go to Dubai, baby, and the guy's slobbering all over the place, or you see him partying and ballooning up in weight. I mean, come on, man. The guy, you looked at how he was reacting in the Danny Garcia fight to punches or to the Ugas fight. You knew that's what sealed it to me when people started telling me. Even Terence Crawford fans were saying, look, this guy he's not the same guy anymore. Now all of a sudden, it's like, no, Errol Spence was in his prime. He was 25 years old. It's like, what? So anyway, Crawford should think before he speaks, man, because he's making up excuses for Lomachenko, but when it comes to Errol Spence, don't make excuses for him. Don't take away from my win.
But what also doesn't get mentioned with the Teal had a broken foot in that fight. He had surgery right after that fight. He was in a cast. No, that
Well,
doesn't.
he had a fractured toe. He didn't have a broken foot.
Well, toe foot.
I ain't going. No, but it's,
Tell me, as a boxer, your balance with a broken toe is not an impediment.
well, I mean, David Hay had a fractured toe when he fought Klitschko. He moved around fine in the ring. In fact, that's the best thing he did in that fight, was moving around. But my point is that Crawford. I mean, again, this Crawford is, man, I hate to say it, but I'm not a fan of this guy's character, man. Because people for a long time were making him out to be this humble, all shucks type of guy.
Mhm.
And I think part of that is because it was the PBC versus everyone else thing. The Errol Spence fans were so acerbic and toxic that they really alienated people. And meanwhile, they were freezing Crawford out. The PBC were. So it almost made Crawford into this folk hero, this Marvin Hagler-like character. Like, oh man, none of the big names want to fight him. But he was always an arrogant guy. And now you're seeing it. You saw it last year when Inoue got Fight of the Year honors, and this guy was crying, "Oh, it should be me! It should be me!" It's like, man, get a grip of yourself.
I don't that whole thing about freezing out. I don't even see it that way. I think it's just the tactical move that they collected all the. Isn't that what they did? Spence collected the belts on that side, and then the fight was made with him.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's a smart business move, right? In my opinion. You know what I mean? So I don't. Now had he been fighting other people that don't make sense, then that's different. But he was collecting belts, so I don't really have a problem with that in itself. And when he finally beat Ugas, so what fight got made, right? And then Ruslan actually pulled out the fight to fight David Avanesian. So I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter. And his accomplishments. I don't like the way he moves. I really don't. I think he's full of shit. I really do. And that's how it goes for me. You know what I mean? I think he's it has nothing personal outside of the ring. I think he's a great father. He's raising all his kids to be excellent kids. He's a man of the community and all that, and where he lives. And I respect him for all those things. I'm just talking about when it comes to the way he moves in the boxing game.
Yeah,
and I think he's full of shit.
He's a torta lover. He likes tortas.
Ah, come on, man.
Yeah, he does. You've seen it. He likes tortas, and he dances with his mama. Yeah, you know what? And that's the thing about the whole Teo Crawford. Look, he fought David Avanesian, right? How was that any worse than Teofimo? If you could fight Avanesian, what's wrong with Teofimo?
Teo would be his most accomplished fighter on his entire resume.
Yeah, his fence defended Avanesian because they said it was with BLK Prime, and he got 10 mil. Like, that's what they were saying at first.
He didn't get that, bro.
No, of course not. But people, and he has exploding gloves.
Bro. Like, I've seen one torn glove, okay, but two in 4 or 5 rounds. Yeah, gaslight yourself on that shit. That I'm gonna believe that some brand new gloves out the package are gonna explode, looking like gloves like those gloves look like they were 30 years old. I don't.
That thing, because when the Avanesian thing happened, I remember I talked about it and I go, okay, I can't prove that this guy had anything to do with it, but he was suspect. But okay, that Everlast took responsibility. Okay, that's where I left it at. But now with grind gloves, it happens. You start now my radar starts going, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, what's really? And again, if anyone were to cheat, if that is indeed what's occurring, pretty sure maybe Crawford wouldn't be in the loop. They wouldn't keep him in the loop because that way he would have plausible deniability. Like, I didn't know what was going on, but it's still pretty bizarre, man. The 2 pairs of gloves, different brands, different
I've never seen that. I've never seen that happen. Oh, another set of gloves exploded too.
And then in the Avanesian fight, he shows up to the press conference with his hand wraps on. Again, I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm not going Wilder fan level here and accusing him of anything. All I'm saying is it is highly suspect. I think we can all say that. We have a right to say that. Just keep an eye on it.
Russ Amber said it. Russ Amber said it directly that it was suspect.
Really
Who can say it best?
interesting. I didn't know he said that.
Well,
Yeah, he was on that.
Yeah, and you said BDA said, the way this guy you said something, but look, how he always talks about you said something.
Right.
His greatness, right? But he hangs around with Andre Ward, he's with the Smug Crew, and Tim Bradley was the one. So it's like these guys, they got a little click, and they're pumping him up. That what's the saying when someone tells you who they are, believe them. So he's coming out, right? I'm great. You guys don't respect greatness. I'm number one. And it's like, shouldn't you leave that to other people, especially in a sport?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yeah, who goes? I can remember the last time a world-class fighter went on Twitter and kept talking about greatness. You want to share the ring with greatness. Like, what?
Yeah, he did say you want to share the
Get a
ring
hold of
with
yourself, man.
Well, that's for the public to determine. But again, he hangs around the Smug. The Smug is in the air when Crawford and Andre Ward are together. And then add Tim Bradley, and it's like, man, they all just stroke each other.
Did you see that video in the build-up to the Madrimov fight where Crawford was sparring with Andre Ward, and they're only showing you snippets because obviously most of the time Andre Ward out of shape was probably just clinching his way to the end of the sparring session, and you hear they're watching the sparring session, and one of the guys ringside goes, "This is like what was the name of that famous chess player, Bobby Fischer, I think. This is like Bobby Fischer versus the Russian guy, Rushkimov or whatever." It's like, come on, man, it's a sparring session. There's Crawford against an out of shape Andre Ward, retired for 5 years now or more. I mean, these guys just love to elevate these fighters, man.
Well, that's what Andre Ward does consistently, right? He goes on a book tour to tout his greatness and trash Canelo Alvarez and how great Bud Crawford is, and they've really convinced people that Bud Crawford is an all-time great, and that he would beat Canelo Alvarez. Maybe he has a chance against Canelo Alvarez, but it looks like he's begging at this point, and he's not fighting anybody.
You don't got no damn chance to beat Canelo at 168. He's gonna get his neck broken.
And can I say something about that too? Because HLD is saying that he has no chance, and I think people would counter by saying, well, look at all these professional fighters who are picking Canelo. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I think we need to differentiate between the opinion of a professional fighter and somebody that actually watches a lot of boxing, because contrary to popular belief, a lot of professional boxers and trainers aren't really watching all that much boxing. I mean, the trainers more than the boxers, but a lot of boxers, for them, this is a job. They get fed up with boxing all day. The last thing they want to go do is go home and watch other guys fight. So
I agree with that.
So yeah, so when these guys go, well, I'm picking Crawford, I'm thinking, have you really thought this one through? Just because you're a professional fighter doesn't give you, I mean, it gives you, may give you an advantage, but not always. So I don't put too much stock in what guys like Usyk and I forget what these other friends, like Bradley especially, although Bradley, he some of his picks are way out there. But yeah, so like the Crawford, I want I'm with Never Sobers, man. I wouldn't mind seeing Crawford Canelo just for. I wouldn't mind the drama that goes with that fight in the build-up.
Yeah, I agree. But I'd say most of the industry that do talk about the Crawford Canelo fight, as you're saying with Tim Bradley or whoever, usually they insinuate that Crawford still wouldn't beat Canelo. They usually say like, Crawford's daring to be great, or there's always a chance in boxing. But usually, they leave their conclusion that, or at least they insinuate, from my eyes, that Canelo still beats him. And I think most of us, I guess, agree. I mean, I agree. I
see Canelo breaking his nut. Knock him out.
Breaking his nuts? What?
Yesterday on Pro Box, you had the host. I don't know what his name is, but there, it was Paulie Algerian and Sean Porter. And they were talking about the whole Teal thing, and then at the end of the segment, they were like, "So who would you guys rather see fight? Crawford Canelo or Crawford Teal?" And all three of them unanimously said Crawford Teal.
Really?
So, yeah. So that was surprising to me when I heard that.
Yeah, it surprises me.
Pro Box?
Yeah, Pro Box. You had Paulie Algerian and Sean Porter. So when they said that, I mean, they were talking about the whole beef and this and that, and Well, no, but at the end, that was the question: who you would rather see fight, Crawford Canelo, or Crawford Tio? And they all said Tio.
Yeah, that's
nobody,
surprising.
does anybody give Tio? Did they say whether they give him a chance?
No, well, I think it's very logical to say that Crawford would be the favored, and I think that's where they were at. The Crawford would be the favored. And
Maybe that's why they want to see it. Maybe they dislike Teofimo Lopez and they want to see Crawford beat the shit out of him. That's why they say they want to see that one.
But I don't see it like that. I don't see it to that point. I saw how Crawford performed in the last fight. Dude look old and slow.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's
I was gonna say that before I forget. Teofimo acknowledges going to 154. What weight would that fight be at?
He acknowledged, the fight would be at 154. When he was doing the pads with Eddie Reynoso, when he posted on his thing, he was at 156 at there. So,
well, that would be smart. Oh, go ahead, BDA.
Yeah, I don't know about Lopez's chances against Crawford though.
That would be smart if Canelo, let's say somehow, some way that Teofimo signed with Canelo. That's what I would do. I'd say, okay, we'll fight Teofimo, and then you sit ringside and you get a ringside perch against to see Crawford up live. That's something that Floyd Mayweather did a lot. He would be at Manny Pacquiao fights. I don't know if people remember that, but he would be literally ringside cheering for Manny Pacquiao. And I think that's when they said, I don't want to fight this guy. But yeah, but that's like something in boxing. You go sit and watch a guy. I think that's when Jermell Charlo was saying that, or one of the Charlos is they're ringside Canelo and they're pointing like, I can beat that guy. Like, what? But that's how these guys think.
it's just way tough to build up the fight.
Yeah, the fight would do well, right? I think it would. Teofimo Lopez versus
really well. I think the way these guys are beefing, those press conferences are really going to be nice.
Well, shit. I mean, is it gonna do any worse than Madrimov? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Nobody fucking knew who Madrimov was.
I think it's gonna because the Spence fight wasn't nowhere near as big as it was gonna supposed to be. It wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised if it rivals it.
Yeah, that was disappointing. The fact that for us, that Crawford Madrimov card was excellent from top to bottom, and then it didn't really even do that well. And
right after the People Cruz fight, everybody pretty much left.
Jeez, Luis. I mean, that's
a fact. Easily 40% of the crowd left after the People Cruz fight.
Yeah, I think. What do they say? Turkey's it's called a boomer. Is Turkey a boomer? He thought Eminem was relevant still. I was watching it like, this shit is corny. Eminem.
Yeah. MK Ultra Eminem. I mean, come on, who wants to see that?
And he always has that like dazed, like I'm angry white guy look, like I'm edgy. You know what I mean? Like
that's the electroshock therapy that I'm telling you about. That's why they put him to the ringer to keep him under control. But it's interesting, man, because when you talk about I don't want to get too much into the Crawford Canelo thing, but I hear so many people picking Crawford and saying, well, the last time Canelo fought somebody as complete as Crawford was Mayweather, and Crawford is on that level. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. He fought, let's keep into context that Mayweather fought a 24-year-old
Canelo.
23 Canelo, fought him at a catch weight, and it's completely different styles between Mayweather and Crawford. Mayweather does the shoulder roll, especially at that time in his career. If he didn't want to take a risk, he didn't take one, and he became very difficult to hit. Crawford is not that guy. Crawford is hittable. Just look at his face after the Madrimov fight. I don't know if that's the face. Is that the picture you're putting up there, Frank, on the right side corner?
Yeah, that's not for the Madrimov fight.
Yeah, from the Madrimov. His eyes, one of his eyes was falling shut.
Yeah, I got that picture.
Right, and so all I'm saying is he's not Floyd Mayweather. Now, can he do a little bit of everything? Yeah, he can fight coming forward. But mainly his bread and butter is him stepping back and letting you walk into something big. So, that's where the comparisons end between him and Mayweather, that they're counterpunchers. Other than that, Crawford does not have the defense that Mayweather has. And then this is a different Canelo. A Canelo who can move his head, who can punch like hell. He's got a granite chin. It's like, what? Do they really think Crawford's going to easily outbox him? Because I could see him maybe outboxing Canelo. But then on top of that, you get the size the disadvantage for going for him. I mean, it's amazing to me when people pretend to be that Crawford is this multi-dimensional guy that can do it all and can easily unbox Canelo.
And he's 37, getting stronger. I said this earlier, right? So sans exploding gloves, he's 37, looking like Barry Bonds. You know, he's bulking up. He's stronger and faster at 37. That's something else that has to be questioned.
Well, he didn't look faster.
He looked fast.
Well, maybe he felt he didn't need it against Madrimov, but against Earl Spence, I mean, he was really bulked up, and he was punching like a mule. He knocked him down with a jab. I mean, maybe he's that good, but you know, watching his earlier fights, right, against Postal, you know, running, bouncing, you know, all of a sudden he just became this destroyer with neck muscles.
Spence was on mushrooms that night, bro. He came in blown, bro. He was blown before he got into the fight.
Well, that too, but just his physique, you know, alone. I mean, he was looking like the Hulk.
I don't take that Spence fight as what it should, because that guy, he was done. He was cooked. He was weight drained. He looked like he was on some bullshit. And look, that accident, I don't care what anybody, that accident takes years off your life. That was not that's like 20 fights being knocked out in a row. So I mean, this man was not you know, the man that he once was. And then he had over the bone fucked up, right? Or no, it was his cornea.
But you know what? Boxing is so sick. We're probably gonna get a 2. I can bet that we're gonna get a part 2. It looks like Spence is going to fight Fedora. That was confirmed. Terrence Crawford is stepping aside for that. So what if Spence won? We're gonna get a 2. If Spence beats Fedora, we're gonna get a Crawford Earl Spence 2.
That was the agreement. That was the agreement that they had with the WBO that they came to. That's where I think, right? That's what Coppinger reported, that you know, that he was entitled to a voluntary defense, and they agreed that after that fight, then he has to fight Crawford. Now, what happens if Spence wins? That means that agreement goes out the window, and then Spence is going to end up having, they're going to feed him to fight Tim Tszyu.
Oh, okay. That's
the original. That was the original thing, and then
okay, that makes more sense then.
And then Crawford gets freezed out, and so
again,
you know, are you gonna fight Tio? You're gonna Canelo? I don't know if he gives a shit about wanting to fight you, to be honest. I just heard that Shiraz, they offered actually to fight the Shiraz earlier this year before the Berlanga fight.
I seen that too.
So
that's my thing with the whole Canelo Crawford is there's better fights for both guys. There's better fights for Canelo. I actually really want to see Canelo Alvarez versus Christian and Billy. And then the biggest fight that I want to see is Virgil Ortiz versus Terrence Crawford. I've always wanted to see Virgil Ortiz versus Terrence Crawford. I really think that that's a mega fight.
That's another avenue fight.
Huh?
I got Virgil on that one, but that is another avenue for Crawford, is to take the fight with Ortiz.
And you know that the Sheik said a couple of months ago when he was talking about Crawford's next move, and he said, well, you know, we'd like to make the fight against Tszyu and against Ortiz, but I don't know if Crawford would take that. And I remember thinking, well, what leads the Sheik to believe that Crawford wouldn't want it? What is Crawford telling him that would lead him to believe that? Because that's the way it seems like to me, that Crawford doesn't really want to fight anybody else but Canelo. He doesn't want Jaron Ennis, doesn't want Tszyu, doesn't want Teofimo Lopez, doesn't want Ortiz. He wants that payday. And he said on Twitter a couple of days ago when he was going back and forth with Teofimo Lopez, he said, "Yo, crazy man! If I was really desperate for a payday, I would have taken the fight with Conor McGregor." I'm thinking, well, maybe you didn't take it not because maybe you're not desperate for a payday, but you are desperate for a Canelo payday specifically. Because if you took a payday against McGregor, people would laugh at you, and he's very self-conscious too about how he looks.
He's gonna get his ass beat. You know what I mean? He has zero chance of beating Conor McGregor in the MMA ring. Mm-hmm. Zero chance. So it's a false equivalence to say that if I wanted to get out, I would have taken. No, man, because you're gonna look like shit in that fight, and you're definitely gonna get choked out. You know what I mean? So this not, at least you know what the fuck you're doing in the ring. You ain't gonna know what the fuck to do in the octagon. So it's,
you know what it is.
Type of a payday.
You know what it is? He's been wrestling his fans, and I think now because of that, he's grown confident, overconfident. It's one thing to be wrestling with a bunch of guys that come to see you, and they want you to wrestle and pin them in front of their wives. It's a whole other thing to go into MMA. I guess Conor McGregor, man. I mean, come on.
Get drunk and start wrestling. Yeah, that's a recipe.
I mean, come on. Hey, by the way, Frank.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what type of microphone are you using?
Some Walmart microphone, man. Why you don't like it?
No, because you used to sound different, and now you sound better. And I don't know. It started about maybe a week or two ago, or maybe more.
Yeah.
I noticed that yeah.
I was using some Beats headphones, but I noticed it sounded too far away and echoing. I did it because I could be on my phone, but with this microphone, kind of have to be on the computer. And I like to move around, eat my beef jerky and drink my water. But yeah, if this one, I tried different ones, and this one seemed to work the best. You probably have like a $500 microphone. I got a little knockoff one.
What did you say? You like to eat the chorizo while you're
no BDA.
You like the chorizo? No, okay.
I don't know what you're listening for, homie, but beef jerky, the man stick. Right. When like snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh yeah.
Keep the salt, salt and water.
The beef jerky with jalapeno flavored. Oof, that one's good.
Oh
man.
Yeah, that's the Slim Jim. Snap into a Slim Jim. No, that Yeti mic was trash. I tried one of those and it was awful.
Oh, you had the Yeti? Yeah, that one. I actually started using that one 7 years ago. Because you go on YouTube and everyone's like, you write like microphone for podcasting or whatever, and everyone gives you the first results. And now a long time ago I realized now they don't go on YouTube and look for that, because a lot of these guys get paid to push a certain product, and that was one of those, the Yeti.
Well, it was the cheapest one, and this one's like a hyper. It's actually hyper from Walmart. So yeah,
it sounds good, man.
Oh yeah, thank you. I can actually sense it with my headset, and it seems to have some kind of like I don't know what the I could feel it, but when I was with the Yeti, it was like speaking into a hallway, and I got no feedback, So this one, I definitely got to step up my headphone game though. I'm using some like old Boss ones, but I'm working on it, man.
Well, I mean, if you're doing shows regularly, and then at some point you got to go, okay, I'll invest more into the show. But if you're not gonna do this a lot, or if you're just doing it right now and then you're gonna drop it later, yeah, it's better not to go all in until you've actually made the effort.
Well, the other thing I would like to do is do you use OBS to do the streams? Yeah. See, I'm like, man, that shit looks like a lot of work, a lot of tutorials, but it looks really nice. I'm just doing like as you see, I got the clips and thumbnails, but I would. I don't know what the learning curve is with the OBS and stuff.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's not that difficult. I mean, yeah, it took me a while to the tutorials and everything, but once you get it down, like anything else, once it becomes a skill, especially if you're using it almost every other day, and it's part of the, it becomes just another skill that you have. So it's just a question of doing it for a while, a lot, getting used to it, and then boom, you got a new ability there.
Everything is easy once you learn how to do it. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, that's what I learned. That's what she said.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, never sober.
You asshole.
What?
Never sobers. He uses OBS too, I think, because I remember he accidentally showed his desktop, and he had we saw the Instagram. He was on following Bivol's ex-wife, and I said, he's using OBS, so he's projecting from the desktop. Yeah.
No, I like it because it's funner for the chat too. Like you get to see the chat, and I think that's more visually, it's better visuals for the people watching. They can see their chats, because that's something that's important. I think is highlighting chat. This I have to pay attention to chat, and I'm listening to you guys, and then I'm doing different thumbnails. So the OBS would be, really, more exciting to use. So I'm gonna try it.
Well,
I've been
can I just say
something?
real quick. That's one of the things I like about StreamYard is that once you can highlight the comments like you said, and for a while I was thinking, well, how do I do that? And there's there's a plugin for OBS on how to do that.
Oh, okay. So highlighting the chat through OBS is a plugin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried OBS, but it was, I don't know, it was too confusing. Maybe I'm just like not tech savvy, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it eventually. We'll see.
Yeah, why not?
But you use like a really powerful microphone, or you got like just a Walmart one like I do?
I use a whatchamacallit, that's the other thing though. It's you said, well, I don't want to bore people with the technical details, but yeah, I use a pretty good microphone.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, but you have to be at your computer though, right?
Yeah.
I stepped up my computer game though, but yeah. And I guess back to boxing. What do you guys think about the Benavidez Morrell news?
It's great news. It's great, but I told Coppinger, he responded. I told him, yo, man, I'm not holding my breath until it's official. You know what I mean? Yeah, they announced that they're gonna, but we don't have a specific date. We don't have any of that shit. You know what I mean? They're just saying that he reached the deal.
I thought they said January already.
No, it's the Coppinger. Well, he responded to me on that. He's like, you know, the fighter just that, you know, the date is not official.
See, yeah, because it came out, it was Jesse Hart, right? And then he got a lot of flack for that. And then somebody posted, oh, Benavidez Morrell. And then his manager, Samson Likowitz, said, no, it's not done. I'm not a part of it, but it's fake news. And now they're saying today it's a done deal.
They use the Hart just as a distraction, just like Team Tank did with Lomachenko. Because it was always going to be a Roach. You know, so they just did that. And at the same time, it's a good clout chase, you know what I mean? To have an excuse, oh yeah, man, we need pulled out and all that, so now we get to fight whatever the fuck we want. It was always so the same thing with Hart. That was just a distraction so that there was no pressure about making the deal. They could make the fight happen with Morrell.
Yeah, because it's true, man, because look at if you read the wording of it is, we've agreed to terms. Or I think he even said, I agree to terms. And I'm thinking, well, what does that mean? That doesn't mean the fight's signed. Until the fight is signed and there's a venue, I don't, because I remember 2021 when they said Joshua and Fury agreed to terms. And then I know it was a different scenario because then the Wilder team came in and they had the arbitration. But see, what does it say there? It says we got the contract done. What does that mean? It could just mean they figured out a contract, but that doesn't mean they've signed it yet.
Yeah, that happened with Tank Davis Ryan. They went through like 5 fucking contracts. That's what I'm saying, man. Boxing just does itself no favors with this shit, man. That's why I'm like, everybody's gas, but pump the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan really pushed that fight. They don't want to. They didn't want to fight Ryan. They did not want to fight Ryan, and they made it as difficult as possible. Hopefully, he could walk the fuck away. And they were, we're gonna keep on throwing more shit on this contract, and and to make it to our advantage, almost an absolute. And that's the same shit they were doing with Lomachenko, man. They were stringing him along for over 4 months.
Jeez Louise.
Come on, I knew that fight wasn't going to be made. I told that, what's his name, man? He's always talking above his pay grade, Tank's trainer. Bro, he's talking way above your pay grade, bro. He ain't bullshitting me. He ain't going to fight no Loma. I told him, bro, you ain't going to fight no Loma. And what happened? Exactly that.
Yeah. And you know what? Going back to the Garcia thing, it's interesting because they always bring up the fact that the Tank Davis fans, they bring up the fact that it was Garcia that suggested the catch weight and all that. I'm thinking, well, of course he had to do that because these guys, like you said, they were adding layer over layer of things they wanted. So finally Garcia said, okay, what's it gonna take to make this fight? What, a catch weight? And they probably say, yep, that's what we want. I mean, the fact that he didn't want to fight Ryan Garcia, who at that time was seen as just an Instagram boxer, speaks volumes about the matchmaking over there.
Well, one of the most damning things I heard is that if you remember, probably most people don't remember, Tank Davis fought that tune-up Hector Garcia. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight Mercio Gesta.
Mm-hmm. Mercito Gesta, yeah.
That was going to be his tune-up. And what I heard is that Tank Davis denied that. Said no, you don't get a tune-up. You got to go straight into the fight. I don't know
Well,
how
I mean,
true or legit that is, but sounds legit.
Well, that's what Ryan Garcia said. I don't know if it's true, but it
That's
wouldn't
right, he did
surprise
say
me.
that.
Right, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was true because I mean, look at what Tank Davis had to catch weight, rehydration clause, spice in the camp. All of this verified, by the way, by
And-
Leonard Ellerby, who was
and
telling
weigh
it,
in
bragging about it.
weigh in at 2 p.m. Or
Oh yeah,
like-
exactly. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good point. Bragging about it, like that's how we do. And look, see, I love. There's such a thing as sports spying. You know, people have spies in camps and all that. Sure, Ray
Right.
Leonard did it.
Mhm.
That doesn't make it right. I mean, I want to see the best fighting the best. I don't want to see a guy getting small little advantage outside the ring because then it leads me to believe, why do you need those small advantages? Why you can't beat the guy outright? You need to play all these little games to get a win.
Hey, who's that piece of candy on the screen?
That's Smasher Pass, Mackenzie Dern. She's a UFC fighter. It's White Girl Wednesday, but Sobers told me she's Brazilian, or I guess
Doesn't
that's
matter. Yeah, she's a smash.
definite smash. BDA, I haven't heard
Yeah,
you.
she's a smash, bro.
I need to see that whole.
I haven't even looked at her face yet, but I say yeah.
Bam.
I-
Oh, okay, yeah, she looks good too in the face, man. Yeah.
What's her name?
Mackenzie Dern.
And she's Brazilian.
That's what Sober said. Yes, she is Brazilian.
Well, listen, Sobers is living on cloud 9 every day, so I wouldn't think what he says with it.
No, I checked her Instagram. I'm stalking her on Instagram. So
It
she
says
is.
fighting out of. I'm looking her up. Okay, so she fights out of the U. Is an American and Brazilian professional mixed martial artist. She's probably
Bam.
born in the USA.
Brazilian women and Venezuelan women, I heard are pound for pound the prettiest girls in the world. Somebody said Venezuelan women are some
I'll tell you
some
what.
statistic or poll or
tell you
something. Go ahead.
I tell you what, Venezuelans, Brazilians, Colombians,
Yeah, pound for pound, right?
pound for
Throughout-
pound, man. I know everyone's tastes are different; it's all subjective. But man, for me, Brazilians, Venezuelans, Colombians, they don't just like you walking down there and every fucking girl's a model. Although here in Montreal, people always make a big deal like, "Oh, in Montreal, the women they're insane," and that's because it's a mix of every other fucking culture. If you're talking just like pure undiluted, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela.
Yeah, I think growing up in the movies, it was always Swedish women. Isn't that kind of like a stereotype? Is it Swedish women?
Yeah, but apparently they don't swallow. I think that's the book on Swedish.
That's a BDA thing.
Hey, well, I'm just saying that's important.
Yeah, it's a very important thing.
But pound for pound for me, I said I have an Asian fetish. I did a Rachel Donaire smash or pass respectfully. So, yeah, man. But for I guess it's your choice. But pound for pound, literally, I think it's Venezuelan women. I think do they hold the most beauty pageant wins or something like that?
No, that's a good question.
That's Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah, and you're Puerto Rican, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always had a thing for Puerto Rican women.
I forgot about Puerto Rico too. Yeah, and Costa Ricans too. They're pretty good too.
But the only thing,
Argentinians.
Argentinians. Is the what was Tony Montana? Was he what was he?
Cuban.
He was
Cuban though.
Cuban, yeah.
Is like Puerto Rican Cuban. Like I didn't like that. Like his sister, that hair. Like when I think Puerto Rican women, I think that like that type of hair.
No.
Oh, you just know Tony's sister had a big fucking snatch and then the fucking hair. It's her
One of those.
the same haircut like down there. That's what she had down
right.
there.
The old 70s haircut, like she had it's a really racy joke. Like she had a brother in a headlock. That's what it looks like on the beach. I think that's what you like, BDA, right? You're not. I'm a Brazilian wax guy,
Uh-huh.
But
You're saying I like a full bush.
No, that's you. I think you go on. That's you. That's what you like.
You're saying I like it when I put, when I go out with a girl, I make her work out a little bit so I can get that salmon smell from the bush. Is that what you're saying?
But if you like Brazilian, that means you like Amanda Nunes.
No, the
Amanda.
Brazilian wax. Like for me, is Amando, because BDA says he likes the chicks with the brothers in a headlock. He likes that look. I said I'm
Hey,
a Brazilian wax guy. She's got a.
Yeah, I just looked.
You know.
I just looked up Amanda Nunez, and I don't know. Like I said, I like Brazilians, but man, specific.
But she's a stud.
Doesn't she look like this chick? That's what's her name?
Yeah,
Young Ma.
I thought that was a girl from The Wire, Snoop.
Oh, yeah. She's no, she's African American. I think Young Ma is actually, is she Dominican or Puerto Rican?
I don't know, man. I don't know who these people are.
I'm like you beat it. I'm like I don't know that. I mean, I never even heard her name.
But wait, before Frank degenerated the show into smut, what were we talking about with boxing?
With
What was it?
Benavidez and Morrell.
Oh, well,
The
you know what?
announcement.
You know, we got the Roach Davis fight, and incidentally, I was making fun of it the other day, and I was saying, who's gonna be on the undercard? Which inactive fighter is gonna break their
yep.
inactivity?
Say it.
I joked around. I said Gary Russell Jr. Well, lo and behold, it's not Gary Russell Jr. It's Charlo, and we're talking Jamal Charlo versus Demetrius Andrade. Two guys that haven't fought since last November. One of which got his ass beat in Andrade, and the other guy who looked awful fighting a peg-legged Jose Benavidez Jr. Now, come on, that's the big under. And I saw people going, "Oh my God, the undercard! They're having Charlo and Andrade." I got into an argument with a guy. Remember on one of the last shows, but in the build-up to the Canelo Berlanga fight, and I said the undercard is, I don't like it, man. What the fuck is it? And the guy on the phone was saying, "Yeah, but look at the names. Look at the names. I don't care if they're names. If they like, if you got big names, but they've been inactive for over 2 years and they're fighting each other, it's gonna be a crap fight."
Yeah.
And I seen Boo Boo quit. I think he quit against Benavidez and Charlo's. How long has he been out? Jamal?
For the same amounts. He hasn't fought since they both won that same card. When Andrew got his ass whooped, that's the same.
I think he got his ass whooped, bro. I don't think he got whooped. You thought he quit?
But Andrade? Yeah, well, he did. He, in the corner threw in the towel, but I seen them look at him and he shook his head no. I don't know,
bro.
You can translate that as him saying no, don't stop the fight, or they asked him and he said no.
Yeah, because I mean, usually when a guy wants to quit, he'll at least pretend sometimes. Like either they'll stay silent or they'll pretend like, no, man, don't stop the fight. But
Right.
he's already, he's telling he knows how to code the message to his train, like, yeah, stop this motherfucking fight. He didn't. He just stayed silent. Like, so it's like Joshua when I get like Luis, when the refs ask him, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He's looking over to his corner. He's looking at the lights, and it's like, "What the fuck, man? Come on!" There's a tacit way to admit I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've seen fighters. I think what was it when Lee Wood got like knocked the fuck out, and then his trainer threw in the towel. He was like upset. Like, okay, that, I get that, but yeah, the way Boo Boo went out, it looked like like you said. Did you say a big word of the day? Tacit agreement. Because he wasn't mad. He was just like, he knew it was done. But his corner, and was he asked? Did they want to stop the fight?
I think once your corner is actually asking you, should we stop this fight? It's because they already know this fight is done. And they should throw in the towel. They're just giving him the courtesy of telling him. You know what I mean? If the corner already saying, "Yo, man, we should stop this fight," it's because they know you're getting destroyed and you have no way of winning this fight, or that's how they feel, and you're taking enough damage. Now they give the courtesy of a warrior, maybe, to depending who it is. Yeah, hey man, should we stop this fight? You know what I mean? So that's not on them, but that means that they're ready to throw in the towel.
It's the opposite with women. When they say, "I think we should stop," it's because they want you.
I'm not going down that route.
They're asking you to make the argument not to stop. It's just their way of trying to preserve their dignity.
Right.
But look, the undercard. That's what I'm saying. The undercard. It's a guy Andre coming off of a beating, and by the time the fight comes along in December, it's going to be over a year of inactivity for him. Same thing for Jamal Charlo. So I'm not. Look, if this fight would have taken place 5 years ago, I would be a good fight. As far as it stands now, it's two guys shaking the rust off. One of them coming off a beating, and the other one coming off a fight in which he looked like crap too, because he was breaking a 2-year layoff himself. So I mean, I don't know. The PBC, man, they need to step it up a little bit.
They're just filling spaces. I mean, what's Charlo? He's like 34 also. You know what I mean? They're just filling space and gaps with these guys. These guys, they're just collecting whatever's left under contract.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's a shame for these two guys because, had they been moved properly and promoted properly, and they would have been, with their heads on straight, they could have made a big impact culturally to sell their fights. You know what I mean? It's a rarity of twins. You know what I mean? And they fucked themselves over bad, and they shot themselves in their own foot the way they act, all ignorant and stupid. I mean, but then PBC also did a poor job at promoting these guys and keeping them active. So there's a little bit of both.
I'm gathering that for you fellas, you're saying you're not gonna buy it. That's not enough to say, damn, you know what? I wasn't gonna buy it, but fuck, Andrade versus Charlo.
What undercard are they on?
The Lamont Roach.
I was no, yeah. It doesn't matter who's in the undercard. I wasn't gonna watch that fight. At least not.
You know why I'm buying it? Because if I don't buy it, then the Tank Davis fans aren't buying it either. So who's gonna buy it? Somebody has to buy the fight. Somebody has to keep this sport afloat. And the Tank Davis, they don't buy the fights. They fire stick all the time.
Well, you would think they do because there's gonna be a lot of arguments about how it's a fire card because there's a lot of PBC fanboys at the fire card and look, like you said, someone told you, look at the names.
Fire card, yeah.
And you would think when you see all that push on social media or YouTube, and you would think, man, that's like there's like 1 million people out there that are fans of this guy, and then it sells 150K. You're like, wait, where are all the people that were fans?
I mean, it's pretty well established for years now that they don't buy the Tank Davis fights. Don't buy the fights. They just don't.
Well, see, HLD made a point. Is he does do a good gate though? Like his gates, he does sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be Houston. They said so. He does good live gates. You get all the hip hop crowd. He walks out with like a Chief Keef or something, Little Yachty or I don't know who's relevant now, but he has that crowd, and they go out and support him. And I think his tickets are sell relatively high. And he's gonna live off the Ryan Garcia win, right? Oh, he's a face of boxing. He sold 1 million pay-per-views with Ryan Garcia, so he has that going for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like I said, his gates do sell well, regardless of the pay-per-views. His gates do make money. You know what I mean? And they're not cheap tickets either. They're not at a discount of any type. So I expect them to yeah, they're gonna absolutely keep on riding this wave. Of turning over whatever they can make out of him because they're never going to put this guy with a top-notch guy. Not anytime soon. I think they said not until they're ready to cash him out, like they did with Spence, and that's what's going to happen with Tank if he doesn't retire before that.
Yeah, because these undercards too, they're not. I don't think they're paying these guys. This ain't 2015 anymore with the PBC where they're paying these guys good money. I don't think they're paying them that much, so they can sort of keep the cost down with this card. I mean. Even Tank Davis doesn't really get paid that much, from what I understand. Contrary to Tank Davis's fans' belief that he's a star of boxing, he's making 10 per. He's making 10 million.
He's making 10 million. Because he says things like, that's what they say. They say he's making 50 mil, 20 mil. I literally heard somebody on a space say he makes 50 million.
But look, that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy with Tank Davis because. He's been on the cusp of being mainstream for years now. If he were to fight the best consistently, he'd already be a mainstream star. But they're making good money at the gates, whether it's in the West Coast or in the East Cost. And they're just content with that. Instead of pushing him to the next level, it's almost as if they don't know how to. Sometimes that's what I wonder. It's like, do these people really... Because, they had Wilder, who could have been a star. They didn't do anything with him. Earl Spence, they were content with filling Texas Stadium over there with him. And then cash him out against Crawford. I'm thinking, do the people over there on that side of the street actually know how to build a star? Because Golden Boy can do it, Top Rank can do it, Matchroom can do it. Why can't the PBC do it?
Well, with Tank, if him selling out these stadiums or arenas, and on an average, let's say it is 200,000 pay-per-views, it does generate, it does generate a good overall revenue. So I mean, he could scrape $15 million out of these fights. I don't doubt that. Not between gate and pay-per-views, because I know his guarantees aren't big, so it's all on the back end. So if you calculate what they make on 200,000 pay-per-views, and if they do between $10 and $15 million on the gate, he can make maybe it is around $10 million a fight.
Well, the pay-per-view numbers that's the contentious issue, because who knows what he's making. They always come out and say 250, 300,000. They always try to keep it above 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
But if that were the case, and the Showtime or the PBC would announce the numbers officially, it's always Fat Dan or it's always some other writer coming up with sources say, just come out with the numbers. So until somebody actually officially releases the numbers, I call bullshit. And especially because fucking Espinosa actually shot himself on the foot when he said, I forget how he worded it, but essentially what at the end of the day, what it meant was that the Rolly Romero fight did not even do 200,000. That's I think that's what he had said in that Chicken Talk Twitter program. So, if I guess Romero, he couldn't do that. I doubt that he did that against Barrios. I doubt that he did that against what's his name? Hector Luis Garcia, Frank Martin. I don't think he's reaching 300,000, man.
I don't think he's at 300,000. I don't think so either. But anywhere from that, I don't know. I'm going to put anywhere from that 100 to 200,000 mark. It's somewhere around there. But who knows? We'll never really know. None of these numbers are super official. There's a lot of calculated formulas that are used by those who are in the game. But are they official numbers? No. Nobody's really going to know these numbers. And you haven't seen that from anybody really releasing it. When's the last time any of these companies actually released these numbers?
And that's the other thing is, when Tank was fighting pay-per-view over at Showtime, they have to split the money with the cable company. Let's say he did 200,000, they got to split that with the cable company. So how much is that really going to? If Tank Davis has points in the back end, like how much is he getting?
Yeah, the cable companies get off. I think it's right off the bat they get like 40 to 50% of that.
Jeez, Luis.
Right off the bat. So yeah, it's not a widespread of money that they get out of it, and when it goes through these cable companies, which is why they're all trying to be with the apps. But I mean,
as to his stardom, though, I mean, Floyd Mayweather had said it though. He said at one point, leave Tanky alone. he literally said that. Yeah, he said, leave Tank alone, man. Loma's older. He really said, leave Tank alone. Tank, we're building a star. We're not worried about the belts. I mean, this is Floyd Mayweather, his promoter at the time, saying these things. And then Gervonta, he goes on a podcast or something, one of those Up in Smoke, I don't know, podcasts, and they ask him about, the Lomachenko fights, Shakira, Devin Haney. I think it was him and Devin Haney were, they're in the same weight class. Devin Haney's undisputed. And, they're asking Tank Davis these things, and Tanky says, well, I never asked about the fights. They just tell me who I'm going to fight. I don't ask to fight anybody. So even he's telling you, that he doesn't care.
They all gaslight themselves to believe whatever the fuck they want, bro. It's just the fact. We heard that came out of his mouth. Hey, so when you ever gone into the office and and tell him, yo, man, I want to fight this. No, I don't. Bro, there it is. That dude don't ask for shit, bro. He's beholden to his handlers. Whatever the fuck they tell him to do, that's what you're gonna do. He's a globetrotter. Oh, you're gonna play, the Phoenix Barrels this week. That's what you're gonna play. All right. You know what I mean? And that's what he does. Yeah. And he sells, and okay, good for him. Like, I have no hate about him making his money or anything like that, but it's just the bullshit that they're trying to. He's pound for pound. He's the great. No, he ain't, man. He's not. That's my argument that I have against this young man. It's the bullshit that comes along with it. No, you're not.
Mhm.
You know you're not pound for pound. No, you're not. You're still a 30-year-old prospect in my eyes.
And BDA, Jimmy was cooking on that. He was on a good one when he was talking about that writer Dan Canobio, and
He calls him
put
Kenobi.
Kenobi something. He said
I don't know what. I don't even know what he's.
But that guy, he's a writer, and he's saying that nobody wanted to fight Tank, and it's a good fight, and I don't know why people are upset.
I don't know if he's a writer though. By the way,
Is he? No, he is.
He's the son of the owner of CompuBox.
now have you gone at it with him, HLE?
Yeah, several times. I mean, not in a malicious way. Not in a malicious way. We go back and forth a little bit, you know. But and his last thing about the takedown, I told him, yeah, man, you know, more bubblegum reporting. You know what I mean? That's what I told him, man. Come on, man. Like, yeah, I don't know if it was about the one about that this is a great fight, or was it the one about the that they're ducking, you know, everybody's ducking Tank. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro, with that bullshit.
Yeah, because it makes no sense. If you're the face of boxing, you can't be at the same. Never has there been a face of boxing who's at the same time a boogeyman. Because if you're the face of boxing, everybody and their mother wants to fight you. Like De La Hoya, everybody wanted to jump weight classes just to get a taste of the money. Same thing with Pacquiao. Same thing with Mayweather. I mean, just look at Mayweather and Pacquiao. How many guys they brought up from 135 on over? Like Marquez, fucking Robert Guerrero. Adrian Broner skipped a couple of divisions too. Like that never would have happened if the money wasn't welterweight. And the same thing.
Same thing with Canelo. Like whenever I'm ducking Canelo, who's ducking Canelo?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
I mean, so like what? That made no sense.
That's what I'm saying. So the defending Tank Davis on this one, and especially when you consider the history of him not fighting anybody of note in the last 5 years, and then now all of a sudden you're gonna play backup for him, you're gonna play bodyguard and say, no, come on guys, there was nobody he could fight. And look, at the end of the day, I like I said on the show yesterday, I would never do what these guys do on Twitter or on YouTube, where you get to interview fighters, because then at the same time, like, first of all, you're getting in bed with them, and now some of these fighters have thin skin, so as soon as you criticize them or clap back at them a little bit, they get in their feelings. So but then on top of that, like, why are you really gonna ask these guys in the build-up to a fight? How are you feeling? How's training camp been? They always tell you the same thing. I'd rather interview retired fighters, because that retired fighters, now their egos out of the way, they'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you, yeah, this guy hit me so hard I almost shit myself, this and that. I mean, that's where really it's at. But I don't besmirch anybody for doing it, because at the end of the day, there's different strokes for different folks. There is a market for that, so why not? But but there is a limit to sort of being a guy who's just asking questions and a guy starting to defend fighters, because now you need to have those guys. You need to appease them so that they give you interviews.
Well, I've always said that, look, it's a business first, and everybody has their lane and how they're going to be able to move, because not everybody's built for legacy. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is built for that shit. Now we got Bivol fighting Beterbiev, who many still consider to be, like, the scariest motherfucker you're gonna fight in the ring, because he's gonna fucking crack you. There's no ducking with Bivol. Mind you, they're paying him $10 million, I think it is, for this fight, or they're both getting $10 million. But when the pay is there, who's ducking who? It's just the only reason that you're ducking the fight is when you're not that good and you got a gravy train going, and you rather take the gravy train. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'd rather fight 3 of these guys before I fight 1 of these guys. And you see that a lot, because again, not everybody's built for legacy. And so every fighter has their career to already move it, and you can tell who are the real ones and who are not. Tank is not.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know, but the Benavidez versus Morrell fight, I don't know. I don't want to toot our horn here or overstate our importance, but when enough YouTubers started getting together and criticizing Benavidez versus Jesse Hart, Benavidez took note of that. So if this fight occurs, maybe it's because they heard, hey man, listen, Benavidez Hart, you put that on pay-per-view, no one's buying that. And I don't even think Benavidez versus Morrell is going to do well at the pay-per-view either. But what I'm saying is, they heard enough people saying that the Hart fight they didn't want to see it. I think they got pushed into making it. So at the end of the day, if this is a business, and we voice our opinion, we're important too. Look, I understand these fighters, they want make as much money as possible, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and do it. But then when it's nonstop ass fucking to the fans, then it's at that point, it's like, well, what am I? Okay, so why do you expect me to fund your lifestyle and your future when you're fighting guys that I don't want to see you fight? At some point, there's got to be an in-between here going on, like a little compromise.
Well, I think that the PBC saw that these two guys did not look super spectacular in their debuts at 175.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them. So, like, yo, man, we might as well make the money that we can now before one of you guys looks like total shit in a fight for a lot less money that you can bring in.
Who are you guys speaking for that one?
I got Morrell.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, right. Initially, off the back, I think Morrell has the most skills. More footwork. Most skills, more footwork, more athletic. He's the better boxer. Just off top. Benavidez, my hand hurt, broken ribs. And I always say this, I bought David Benavidez fights. You know, I felt stupid buying Caleb Plant. Like, don't you feel stupid when you buy something and then you realize nobody bought it? And you're like, why the fuck did I buy it? Everybody stole it.
But that was a decent fight. Yeah, it shouldn't have been pay-per-view, but it wasn't the worst one, I'd say that.
But I mean, I support David, and but you know what, the truth is, like you said, is, you know, it probably doesn't sell well, and it's risky for both guys. I mean, the loser is done. I know that sounds what did he call that, bombastic?
Mm-hmm.
But
they're probably trying to line themselves up to make this, you know, look when they're releasing it the week of the Beterbiev and Bivol fight, and they're now saying that they're gonna fight. You know, maybe they're trying to make it seem like, you know, hey, this is a 4-man tournament, right? And, you know, the winner of this one fights this fight. So it could be a 4-man tournament as they're thinking in their heads, and you know, and I believe that Canelo will go up to 175 and fight the winner of one of these two guys on Saturday. I really believe that's what's going to end up happening, because I don't really think there's much else left at 168. So, and if he's going to ever fight him to want to add anything else to his legacy, that's the fight, especially if it's Bivol, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't know if that card is that Morrell fight and David going to be well, they're both David, Benavidez and Morrell going to be a headline fight, or they're on the undercard of somebody.
No,
there's no mention of that, right?
No, there is. That's a pay-per-view fight. They're saying January, and Rayo Valenzuela and Pitbull are going to be the chief support
against each other. Rayo and Pitbull are fighting again.
A rematch.
Yeah.
They're in the talks of that.
That's the talks. I showed the banner. No, that's the Janabak and Shiraz. Let's see. This is the odds for Gervonta's Lamont Roaches at plus 860. Let's see. There it is. Jose Roa Valenzuela, Isaac Cruz rematch likely to take place on David Benavidez Morrell undercard January 25th or February date. So, you know, like you said earlier, yes, sometimes BDA, the fans matter. They're listening. They have to be taking notes, because the Jesse Hart and Gervonta, you know, massive pay-per-view, they knew it took a beating. There's no
that Rayo fight makes no sense to me. I don't even know whether. I mean, unless Pitbull Cruz could fight in the style of like Nick Ball, I think this kid's got him figured out. You know what I mean? I think Rayo's got him at least figured out, because he's limited in his skills. Pitbull Cruz. So unless he decides to change his entire way of fighting and he fights like a Nick Ball, it's going to be a repeat, in my opinion.
Yeah,
to
I'm not
be
interested
honest,
in that one.
I'm gonna buy. You're not interested in Rayo and Pitbull rematch on an
Not
undercard
again,
of
no.
Morrell
No, I'm
Benavidez?
not.
No.
Not at all.
Damn, I'm gonna buy Morrell Benavidez. If it have, I'm gonna buy the fight. That's a fight I.
The Morrell and that's intriguing enough to run, but I'm not. If I was to do it, I'm not doing it because of the rematch of Pitbull Cruz and Rayo.
No, but the undercard is like that will convince me to buy Morrell Benavidez. Like that's just something that they're gonna give me. I mean, like I said, I bought Benavidez and Plant off the top. So I don't mind buying it, especially if they're talking about Canelo's gonna fight the winner, or it leads to Beterbiev and Bivol. Then I'm definitely gonna support it. Like I'll never support Stank Davis fighting these scrubs, but
Stank Davis.
Stank Davis, man. And you know what? As you were speaking, the problem is they put him on number 5 pound for pound. Like after beating Frank Martin, I mean, all these guys, Paulie Malignaggi, they're all like, "Oh my God, he's an all-time great." This is what they were saying. He's number 5 pound for pound. How did that happen?
It's glazing, man. It's
glazing. Bro. They look. They're all desperate to make another. You know, all these reporters and all that, because you know when you have a superstar, you know what I mean. You got somebody to talk about. You know what I mean. And Canelo's on his way out. So then who's next?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've been trying to make a Mayweather out of Davina, and that's not happening. That's not happening. You know what I mean? And so they all been biasly trying to build this kid up, and he's not that dude.
That's right.
And so that's what they all do though, because if you don't have nothing to talk about, then who? You know what I mean? It's all a game. They all have to work with each other.
Now I tell you what, Ring TV, they're not that crazy, because I'm looking at the pound for pound rankings. They got like a guy like Jesse Bam Rodriguez way ahead of him. They have Tank Davis number 8, and they have Bam number 5. So at least they're not that crazy. However, if you go to ESPN's list, now the interesting thing about ESPN's list, if you go to ESPN.com, is that they actually tell you which of the writers voted, in which way they voted, like with their pound for their personal pound for pound. So they have Davis number 8 as well, just like Ring Magazine. But check this out. I'm looking at who's below Davis. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Now Teofimo Lopez, I think they downgraded him because of the Ortiz fight. But I'm thinking, wait a minute, I've never seen Tank Davis. They didn't downgrade Davis after the Isa Cruz fight, did they? I don't think. So all of a sudden, Teofimo Lopez doesn't look all that hot against Ortiz, and they drop him. But he's way more accomplished than Gervonta Davis. Why isn't he's the last time he lost was 2021? So I mean, everything he's done since to me, in my pound for pound list, should be above Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis shouldn't even be under in the first place.
I don't believe he's. I'm not into the pound for pound list, but if I was just to make a list of top 10 fighters, he's not in it. He's not in it. Absolutely not.
Teddy Atlas has Davis number 5 on his pound for pound list.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew I was onto something.
I mean, what is this, man?
After beating Frank Martin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I know what it is, but at the same time, I question it. And then, like, we're talking boxing. You got the chat. You guys follow boxing. So, but see, that's what allows them to do this. Now I sound like a Karen, right? Like, how dare they?
Right.
But
no, you don't, man. But it's I mean, look, you know what, Bradley? You know what number he has Davis on? Number 6.
Number 6?
Yeah, that's right.
And does he have any lighter skinned guys up at the top? I mean, aside from the usual suspects, Nui, like if you have to have him up there. Like I seen, even the most racist places have Nui up there. Like I think there's a couple that won't put him up there, but
he's got Canelo number 8. He's got Bivol below Davis at number 7.
What?
And then it's Rodriguez number 5, Beterbiev number 4, Inoue number 3, Crawford number 2, Usyk number 1.
It's ridiculous. That's why I don't even do these pound for pound lists at all. No, it doesn't make to compare them to other people, because they have their own agendas or their own criterias, and they twist it. I mean, there's no set standard at all. I saw that somewhere on Twitter. Somebody saying, "Oh, if Benavidez beats Morrell, does he go on the pound for pound list?" I'm like,
man,
what the fuck, dude? You're gonna have a non-champion on your pound for pound list? This is how stupid people are. And so it doesn't make sense to me. That's why I don't get into it.
Yeah, and then people have the different criteria, right? Like you said, like they go, well, some people go, well, I judge my pound for pound is based on the eye test. I go, what the fuck? Okay, so what is that? So, but now it's a pound for pound list about talent and not necessarily about accomplishments. That's what the pound for pound list has been since time immemorial. It's about the accomplishments and how you accomplish them.
Well, I always said, I mean, you know my stance. I have Canelo number 1. No, I'm just playing. But I thought it was if they were equal weight, who could beat who. So the same weight, would Inouye beat Canelo? Would Canelo beat Inouye? I thought that was the original concept.
I don't know, man. You know what? I don't even remember, and I don't really care at this point. But hey, man, listen, I got to run though. But
Yeah,
Frank, thank you for having me on, man. Good show.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys cook, man. You guys really keep it going, keep it cooking. Get something to eat, BDA.
How did you know I was gonna go get something? What the fuck?
Because I listen to your show, and then you either got to use the restroom or you're just like, man, I got to get something to eat.
Yeah, man. I mean, you hear my stomach rumbling. Maybe that's.
Eat a Snickers.
No, I'm not eating a Snickers while I'm in the bathroom. Man. Come on, what?
He's gonna go eat some Brazil. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, get a muffin top.
Some Brazilian.
I'm gonna dive into a bush. All right, listen, Phyllis, good talking to you. And
yeah, thank you.
So, are you ending the show now, Frank? Or
yeah, I've been going 3.5 hours strong now.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
But BDA, just before you go, when are you going live again? Let the people know.
I don't know, man. Probably, maybe there will be an open lines Friday, the day before Beterbiev Bivol. But I think I'm going to be busy since then, so I don't know if I'm going to be going on. But I mean, if I do go on the air, I check the notifications.
Okay, salute, like and subscribe. BDA did a show yesterday. If he has open lines, everybody can jump in, jump on the Discord. And the HLD, they find you on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to find me, just find me
If you
on
want to find HLD and tell him he doesn't know shit. Nah, I'm just playing, homie. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming through. Yeah, man, big news today. Like I said, it's getting hyped. We're gonna end it, and I'm just gonna get the shots out. Eric Gomez, Impala, Pounds, Matone. Yeah, man, we were going strong. Like I said, when it rains, it pours, man. Boxing can be dry, and then they give you some news. Hopefully, it all happens, man. Hopefully, it all happens. El Cuerpo was here. Salute El Cuerpo, Sergeant, Benny, Bray, OG Blaze. Salute Dark Hadu, Hawker Mustang, Mars Boxeo, all the real ones, man. They knew who they are. Alfredo, and yeah, man, it's been a good. And then Saturday.
Ryan, real quick though, Ryan Garcia responded to Bill Haney. You know how he gave him a deadline?
A nappy head.
He gave him a deadline. You know, he was like, "Oh, you got 6." You tell him, you got 6 hours to roll out. You know, because he was trying to tell him to enroll in the drug test, whatever. So Ryan Garcia just told him right now, you have to be dumb if you think I'm gonna listen to what Bill Haney requests. First of all, they're suing me. Second of all, I don't need them at all. And he just left the left thing. It's just the truth. I don't know what the hell Bill thinking. He could demand anything out of Ryan Garcia. But anyway, man, it was a great show, man. We'll talk then, all right?
Thank you. Cooking with grease. But yeah, man. Yeah, go like and subscribe to everybody we talked about. But just leave you guys now with the boxing news. We'll try to come back. But we out.
Hell no. I don't give a fuck. Oh, I got hired that girl. Suck my motherfucking dick. Oh my god.
Hey, baby.